Episode 1, I'm your host Delthius. Joining me here is AV Ultima. What's going on, man?
Hey there, ready to get in some replays and some live games.
Oh, it's going to be good. So, what we've got on the docket tonight is we're starting off with Octopi vs. Blissey. So, this event is actually really cool. We've got over 50 people involved, and we've split up the bracket into beginner, intermediate, and premier leagues. One thing that's a little bit it can be a little scary trying to jump into some of these events when you're going up against some of the big players like Mishi or the Gentleman or something like that. So I actually am really hyped that we have these different divisions. I remember before we did a tournament, what's really cool about our Tooth and Tail scene here is we have all these like really innovative events and tournaments and stuff. And like I remember one of them we did previously was we paired up a beginner player with like a coach. Do you remember that one? It was a while ago. It was interesting.
I do remember it.
Like, the beginners would do a 1v1, the coaches would do a 1v1, and then they would do a 2v2 together. Something like that. It was a really cool system. So what we've got this time around, courtesy of Mochaccino, Epicosity, a couple other guys behind the scene, I think the Gentleman's always involved to one extent or another, is we've got these three separate divisions here, beginner, intermediate, and premier leagues, and we did our best to try to put the players where it's the most appropriate. That way, everybody's got a nice, fair shot, and it's more competitive this way. So we're actually starting tonight with a beginner match between Octopi and Blissey, and this will be a best of 3. And after that, we're going to go... We actually don't have any intermediate tonight. We're going to go straight to the Premier League after that. So we've got some live matches underway. No, don't start. What are you doing? We've got some live matches underway between, we've got Mishi and Dizon, and Weasel and Red Dino. If you're familiar with the scene, those are some big names there. And then we've got some replays between Lego Man and Eel. I guess we're heading into it.
Hey, I hate to mention this now, but do you have a delay on? I know you turned it off last night.
I do not, because we're also on the Steam page here. So, alright, we're hopping right into it. On the left, we've got Blissey and their opponent Octopi, aka Peanut Butter Salesman here. Take it away for just a second. I gotta grab my controller.
All right, yeah, you want that smooth? Uh-oh. Looks like we might have had an issue with Blissey, I think. They weren't moving at the beginning of the game, so...
all right, false start, I guess. Yeah, I messaged them on Steam and said, "Oh, don't start yet."
Yeah, one of them. Hopefully into the game. Hopefully we didn't have a crash or a
No, I think they just went out so we could get a proper start. But I mean, we could have winged it from there. I think we were about ready anyways. So let me just make sure everything's all set. Looks like we're ready to go here. And yeah, we'll be starting soon. So lots of people watching on Steam. That's awesome. Welcome, everybody. And this will give you a good glimpse at the competitive scene of Tooth and Tail. The multiplayer is so much fun. Like, the storyline is great. The campaign's awesome. But what's really fun about this game is the multiplayer. And to me, it's like more of a casual... It's hard to describe. It's like a little more of a casual RTS if you're someone who loves RTS games but doesn't quite have the time to like keep up with the mechanics of something like StarCraft, for example. I'm a huge StarCraft fan and player. I've loved it forever. But what's awesome about Tooth and Tail is you can play with a controller. It's got all these, all the overall fundamental mechanics are still here, like micro and macro, and unit compositions, and build orders, and timings, and eco, and a little bit of deck building as well. So it's a ton of fun. I hope you guys enjoy. I think we're ready to actually kick things off here. So let the players know. And all right. Yeah, we're not doing a delay this time because we're on the Steam page as well. So, but anyways, I'm not too worried. We have some virtuous nerds here in the scene. Okay, so here we go. We're kicking it off this time. A little bit of a false start. Just trying to get everything organized there. So on the right, we've got Blissey, and their opponent to the left, Octopi. So another cool thing about Tooth and Tail is that the maps are randomly generated every time. So this adds a lot of flavor, and as the commander here, you've got to think on your feet. You can see on the vision that I'm showing on one of the commanders, this is kind of what the player sees. So they've got to run around and scout and figure out exactly what their opponent's doing and try to react to that.
Now, we are on the new patch right now, and I was wondering, yeah, this is the beginner match, so I wasn't sure if I was expecting them to jump into the new meta or to fall back on, I guess, what they're used to. And it seems like I was expecting to see moles in the very least, but
yeah, moles would be awesome. I'm actually really curious if we will see moles from the high-end players. I'm not sure if that early game has really been hammered out because the new patch just happened the other day. And now moles allow for a little bit more aggressive options than we previously had, which is really cool. But I see a little bit of the new meta here. Both players are rocking the tier 3. We see some snakes. We don't see the chameleons. So a little bit of change. But again, I wouldn't be surprised to see chameleons this tournament. You know, they're still viable. They just don't have that as quick of a re-stealth as they used to.
Yeah, that's the most surprising thing here. Not seeing cams, but both players rocking ferrets, which I feel like we've been seeing typical ups and downs from that unit.
Yeah, I think Jet Erickson has been putting out some propaganda in the Discord. This is a siege meta we're in now, so maybe that's what these players are falling back on. Jet, of course, one of the top Tooth and Tail players, and we see Blissey kind of rocking that style here with the balloon. That balloon is gonna give you a lot of vision. It's a great defensive structure, and it pairs really nicely with the ferrets. And right now, we're just kind of seeing what the openings are here. Very greedy from Blissey, going for a quick expansion and a tier 2. Meanwhile, Octopi is just getting an expansion for now, but Octopi actually did not scout the tier 2 Warren, which is very important information, so might not respond exactly correct here.
Yeah, you think there might be a timing that Peanut thinks he's going to go for some farms instead? Ooh.
Yeah, actually building a couple farms, it was blind here from Octopi, but it is the right call. So this is what you want to do against the opponent's tier 2. Yeah, Octopi did not get the full scout on the tier 2, but I think that they're responding to it correctly. Now going to come in, still didn't see that tier 2 Warren, but I think it's okay. But I like Blissey's position. This is a very aggressive attack that's going to be coming out here. Probably once that second snake finishes up. These snakes are very good at dealing with high-tech units of your opponent. They'll poison them, they'll slow them down, and knock them out.
Yeah, it's about a 10-second opportunity here before the Falcons come out for Octopi. It looks like he's just going to sit back, just be content with building more farms out.
Okay, so now Octopi does see the snakes. And this is okay. You know, Octopi does have the eco lead. They managed to get their farms down on their second base a little bit faster. But this is a little bit of a standstill, and this map is actually pretty balanced, you know? Like, both players have access to a third base. There's this fourth outside of Blissey's that could come into play, especially with these balloons, and there's the first one.
Yeah, Blissey has the opportunity to take this low ground area much more easy because it's closer to his natural, as you can see. Not a whole lot of room for, I guess, flanks or any of that type. Pretty straight on map.
Yeah, there's a little runaround path over here to the side, but you're right. There's basically one entrance, and Octopi is looking like they want to engage here. These Toads trying to get the connections, but really good target fire from those snakes. One of the Falcons drops immediately. And this is looking good for Blissey so far.
Yeah, he decided to push in through the river right as the balloon finished, and he had a bit of, I guess, poor unit movement, and lost a lot of units before even engaging in the main fight.
Yeah, and Octopi has a pretty good economy to back this up, but doesn't have a lot of tier 1 Warrens to just mass reproduce very, very quickly, and Blissey moves in and gets a ton of damage done. Blissey's got a phenomenal lead here, won both those engagements. Another thing, if you're watching on Steam, I might kind of give a little more tutorial type cast than I normally do for people maybe seeing this for the first time, but you got to be where your commander is. So when you run back to macro, you're putting yourself out of position for the micro. So as you can see where the camera is right now, this is what the player is actually experiencing here. So when when Octopi went back to build some more farms, they left themselves open on this front. But they're not out of it yet, trying to sneak out this owl. I don't know if Blissy's going to give them enough time, though. The ferret's already coming in, creeping in with these balloons here.
Yeah, he's going to have to buy as much time as possible. I was about to say that Tier 3 might make all the difference here, but it looks like Octopi might come in. No, pushing back, thinking better of it. But yeah, this is going to be a slow burn. Ferrets plus balloons. A lot of, I guess, money going into these balloons. So there's enough time here, potentially.
Yeah, these Falcons are one of the Tier 2 units that really stack well into the late game. Not typically what you want to get super early on. So if Octopi can hold on, maybe this will buffer them to continue forth into a later stage of the game. But I think this is just too much damage here from Blissey. Then again, the owl is on the way.
Yeah, Octopi sold, I think, 1 or 2 Warrens just to be able to get the money to put that out, but replacing them on the back lines, which I guess is pretty smart, considering the ferrets would have destroyed them in the first place.
Obscuchin in the chat. What's up, man? It's good to see you. It's been a while. That's an old school name right there. Yeah, more balloons coming in. I don't think Blissey knows about the owl, which is pretty critical. This owl is going to produce free units. It throws up a bunch of regurgitated mice that it previously ate. So it's just kind of spawning more and more free units over time, which can give you a lot of value.
You know, here's what I have to say. Octopi really hasn't been keeping up with his eco at all on the backlines. I think he might have been distracted by pushing up like this and with his ferrets.
Yeah.
If Octopi can sort of hold this fight and trade, I think he's got a good reinforcement.
Ooh, unfortunately, the owl gets too far forward. Sometimes you do like to bring your owl up because it's got a lot of HP and you can tank some damage with it, but losing that owl in that fight is huge. But Octopi actually takes this. Oh my god, I'm hyped now. Like, you're right, like, Blissey's economy is horrible. At the 5-minute mark, your first base goes completely fallow, so they're only relying on the second base. And look at this, it's 4 farms versus 8 here. Dang, I thought Octopi was down for the count, but clawing their way back into this game here.
Wow, now Blissey switching almost completely to squirrels. 33 on the way. I think he can even get it out with his current economy.
Yeah, I think that was a smart switch. You want to, after those big armies get depleted, you know, switching over to Tier 1 is very smart because those units build so quickly and you can just remass a follow-up attack. And it's working so far for Blissey. That was a really smart decision, actually, to sell off all that Tier 2 and just get as many Tier 1 as possible. But maybe too many Tier 1. Yeah, they're too blocked to actually build out of all these Warrens here.
Yeah, his food is just going to be continually drained, still only on 4 farms to Blissey's, or Octopi's 6. And he's going to lose 1 more and the mill itself.
Woody Pun 7, thanks for the raid, man. I appreciate it. This is a pretty hype game to start match number 1. Octopi coming in, grabbing that third base from Blissey, knocking out another farm. Blissey really needs to kill these Falcons, doing a good job target firing them down. However, the squirrels from Octopi are cleaning up here. I think Blissey was a little overzealous with the number of Tier 1 Warrens here. A lot of those just don't have the money to produce, and, you know, if he sold off like 3 or 4 of them, he can get something out, you know? For the viewers on Steam, you can sell structures in Tooth and Tail for a complete refund. And we see it, and Blissey taps out. Octopi came back. Wow. Really impressive. What a good match 1. Hopefully the levels out there are good, guys. Please let me know in the chat. So this the beginner round is best of 3. And that is 1 map for Octopi there. So if Octopi gets another one, that's it. They win today. And how this tournament works is we've got we're in a round robin phase. So everybody's gonna play each other once, and from there the top players will advance on to like the finals of the tournament. Okay, here we go. Both players scratching their heads, considering what compositions they want. So intermediate and premier leagues are best of 5, and beginner league is best of 3. Okay, spawning on the left, we've got Blissey needing a victory here, and on match point to the right, we've got Octopi, aka Peanut Butter Salesman, as their Steam name here. But we will address them by the name they signed up for the tournament for. So, completely different decks from both players here. which I love to see. You know, that variance is very, very important in Tooth and Tail. And this map doesn't look bad either. You know, you could, if you really scrutinize it, you could say, yeah, it is better for Octopi, but it's not terrible for Blissey. They've got access to a nice natural here. They've got access to a third base. The big issue that I see is that Octopi's side of the map is on this high ground here, which high ground doesn't grant you extra damage or anything like that, but vision is very, very important. If you can't see up there, your opponent's just dealing free damage to you. Oh, and look at this. We see a 6-farm double from Blissey. Octopi's got to scout this out and react to it, and very smart placement from Blissey too, putting it up on the high ground. Okay, does see it. Let's see if they can react in time.
This is quite a long rush distance. If the map was a bit shorter, I'd be a bit worried, but I think he's got great warren placement here, and it's sort of a short choke into his base, so we should be okay.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this is going to work out okay for Octopi here. The 6-farm double's a little bit slow. The 5-farm double is kind of what you normally do when you move out. But let's see. They are going to jump on and try to take some engagements here. But yeah, fantastic hold here for Octopi. That's a big victory. They won that fight. They're also got the eco lead from the build orders that we came out with. Blissey is still only on 6 farms. So that was a big risk that Blissey took in this match and did not pay off for him.
Almost got that warren. It might have been one swipe away from being destroyed. Fortunate.
Octopi gonna follow this up with a expansion, and Blissey showed some warrens, sold one, and then decided to build it again. I'm a little worried for Octopi. As long as they don't build any farms, they should be fine. Maybe one you can get away with, because this is kind of a large map. Oh, and here are those moles, AV.
Looks like, yeah, there's a potential timing coming in, especially if Octopi decides to go for additional farms. But he canceled it. Thinking better of it.
Yeah, just going to try to play a little bit more up front. Getting into that tier 2. Both players getting into tier 2. But so far, this opening is fantastic here for Octopi. Blissey's not down and out. Comebacks are very, very real in Tooth and Tail. So they still have a chance here, but they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to find some damage, maybe be greedy in a way, maybe get out that tier 3, that big boar, for example. But right now, this is Octopi's the protagonist of this anime at the moment. You know, they're just sitting pretty. They can do whatever they want at this point. Sees the expansion, sees a lot of lizards and the snake. Good scout there. Ooh, going really heavy on economy here. Maybe this will give Blissey an opportunity to come in, but I don't think so. Like, I think Octopi has just used that initial advantage and has now, turned that into a huge economic lead.
There is a potential to break, but time might have already passed. He had the 2 snakes and the 2 moles out, but he's just using them for defensive purposes. But he hasn't yet caught up on farms yet. Oh, but he does have that boar warren going.
Yeah, really good scout from Blissey too. Sees a tier 3 from Octopi, but then Octopi sells that tier 3 warren off, opting for more chameleons. Octopi has not seen the boar here.
He hasn't.
Of their opponent, and this could be huge. The tier 3 have a little bit of a better timing nowadays with the new patch. It's 10 seconds faster to get them on the field, and this boar is a big HP, slow-moving flamethrower unit that deals tons of mass damage and will annihilate structures very, very quickly.
Yeah, I think the barbed wire placement is close enough to the farm line where the boar could even potentially shoot over into the tier 1 units. So I think once this comes out, this is going to be a great timing attack for him.
Looks
Pulling off the moles, but then putting them back.
Says you left the lobby there. It looks like we got a little bit of lag this game.
Oh, am I out?
Yeah, but you might be the lag culprit, sir, because now it's not lagging anymore.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. That's all right. You can just kind of co-cast off the Steam broadcast. There you go.
No worries.
All right, so third base coming out here for Octopi, aka Peanut Butter Salesman, and this boar is almost done and still has not been seen. So Blissy's really going for kind of an all-in timing attack here. Like, just wants to get this boar out, backed up by all these snakes, and just YOLO in there and deal critical damage. If they don't, I mean, Octopi is just so far ahead in economy that it would be very, very difficult for Blissey to come back at this stage. I love this barbed wire, too. That's fantastic. And the modern barbed wire, I believe it's either 5 or 10 food that it costs. It's cheaper than it used to be.
10.
And here's the boar coming out. Let's see. This is going to be critical for Blissey. They got to micro this absolutely perfectly. That's interesting that the boar can't hit the barbed wire, but if it's the flamethrower is going through the barbed wire to hit other units, it will actually deal with that barbed wire. But here we go, the big engagement's coming in. Octopi is trying to get all these chameleons onto the boar. The boar is being microed back, trying to stay alive. Got all these pigeons healing it. This is the big crux of the army, but maybe Octopi's just got too much here with this economic lead. The boar goes down, and with that, I believe so too do the hopes of Blissey winning this match. Octopi coming in, moving forward, gonna deal some counter damage here. And we're off to a great start with the tournament. Really action-packed series number 1. And it looks like this is going to be a 2-0 victory for Octopi. Oh, we're still hitting a little bit of lag, but there we go. Octopi takes the match. 2-0. Very nice. All right. So that is it for these two players. We are going to try to get the next ones up. So if anybody is in the Steam chat, how's it going, guys? Good to see y'all here. If you have any questions, just let me know. We are gonna round up the next players, or are we going into replays next? Let me talk to my tournament organizer behind the scenes for a minute. All right, we are hopping into those replays, AV.
Okay.
So let me do a little bit of production here for the Twitch stream. Get these scoreboards updated. So congratulations to Octopi for that victory there. Really awesome games to start the night off. Oh geez, can I spell Illuminatus right? I gotta double check. I can't have a misspelled name here.
No, go with your heart.
We're doing it live. All right. Bam, got it. All right, so this is gonna be a best of 5 match, and this is in the Premier League. So these are some more expert level players this time around. And these matches have already happened, so we're just going to look at some replays. And yeah, let us hop into it. Are you ready for match number 1, AV?
Child versus Kuro or Lego Man versus Eel?
Lego Man versus Eel.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. Match number 1. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, spawning on the right, we've got Illuminatus. His opponent to the left, Lego Man 96.
I'm excited to see what Eel can do with these lizards. This is a real open map for a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, this is a big one. Okay, so who's got lizards? So Eel, this is interesting. Eel actually dropped a squirrel. This is something I've been thinking about lately because Mass Lizards just does so well in the tier 1 slot. And Eel can flex with the moles. Ah, here we go. All right, we need to see this for science.
Awesome.
So Lego Man hasn't seen... I feel like these new moles can really punish, right? Oh, no, Lego Man's just taking some time to scout. That is dangerous in these early phases of the game. But most people go 8 farm openings, so now Lego Man sees that Eel is missing food and is not going to be happy. Meanwhile, these moles are already dealing damage here. It looks like he picked up a building farm.
He did.
Oh,
One
good.
farm down.
Yeah. Yeah, see what I mean? Like, that comes so fast. And Lego, to be fair, didn't scout as optimally with his follow-up. And I'm guilty of that, too, from time to time, because 8 farm meta is so common. So Eel already at a little bit of a lead, but keep in mind it's not super.
There is a potential for a corner pick, but luckily these rocks in this little house generation is a little in the way for that potential. So I guess great generation for him. And he's going around for the backside.
Oh, is he? Okay, he's in range of the Warren, but the lizard doesn't quite have the range to not get hit by those pigs there. So Eel just showcasing this really, nice sell there by Lego. Actually, that was great for Lego Man.
Great bait.
Yeah, really good bait there. He gets 40 food back in his pocket, and Eel did take out that pig for free earlier on, but had to delay his own farms for it. And Eel is going to follow this up with a tier 2 hit here, so I'm curious how Lego Man wants to respond. Lego Man did scout that tier 2 Warren, so knows what's coming, and his response is just going to be to get out a lot of tier 1 and try to push.
Yeah, lizards aren't the best at defense. He could potentially get 1 or 2 pigs here with this, if he plays this right.
Nice target firing there. Gonna go for the pig. Is gonna get one for sure. Ooh, this is always the rough spot, right? Do you keep going or do you back out? Oh, don't lose the commander. The commander goes down. That's huge for Eel. Can clean up the rest of these unmicroed units, no problem. But 2 pigs went down.
Yeah, Eel and all of that put down a mole warren, and that was actually, it's a pretty great defensive opportunity because you get that unit out as long as you have the money within 20 seconds of placing it down. So that's pretty fast, quick defense.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Eel. He's got his skunks now. Did take some damage with the pigs. This has been a very bloody early game. We're only at the 3-minute mark, and think about how many skirmishes have already happened. And these skunks are deadly. The skunks do AoE gas, which is very, very effective against these squirrels here. Look at man trying to get in the right spot. Microing back, gonna have to sacrifice that Warren for now. Ooh, gonna try to pick up the skunk. Think it's gonna get out though. Oh, maybe with this road. The road. Oh my god. Oh, there it is.
Oh, barely.
Snake is here for Lego Man too. This is a great unit to deal with your enemies tier 2. If that snake can get a couple hits on those enemy skunks, they're gonna poison them, they're gonna slow them down, and they're gonna put them in a world of pain. And Lego Man even trying to get out these chameleons. Chameleons are a really cool unit. They stealth and they're kind of like bruisers, you know, big frontline melee units, a lot of HP. Gonna try to poke in here a little bit of snake harassment. This is very effective. 1 pig going down, but is he gonna lose the snake? No, it gets out just in time.
And unfortunately, unlike Lego Man, Eel does not have any pigeons to heal his units. There's a lot of damage over time stuff going on in this game, and that really hurts Eel on his side.
All right, Lego Man. What Lego Man's doing here is grabbing this gristmill to tank. He's hoping that some of Eel's units will accidentally shoot that instead of his army. A little bit bold there with the snakes. Loses 1, and Eel moving in.
He got the snake, but he might have lost too many units in the process. Very low in tier 1. Really only skunks left to really do the damage. And Chameleon's in now. So tanking the front lines and continually losing more pigs.
Yeah, really nice attack here. These pigeons helping heal up the units on the front lines. Keeping everything nice and healthy to keep the pressure on. We're at the 5-minute mark, so both players just lost their 4 starting pigs here. Pigs only last for 5 minutes. And this is looking deadly. This might be checkmate here for Lego Man. Yep, that is gonna be it. Lego Man takes an action-pack game number 1 here in this best of 5 series. Really cool. Okay, AV, you ready for match number 2?
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1, go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in the right, we've got Lego Man and his opponent up top, Eel Luminatus. Ooh, Eel rocking the double tier 3. I'm hyped. I'm hyped for this. The boar is more of a timing attack style unit, as we saw in the previous match with Blissey. Meanwhile, the Owl is phenomenal in the late game, so I think what Eel wants to do here, he's kind of low on tier 2. Like, Falcons aren't really a combat tier 2 unit for the most part, like the same way that other ones are in the early to mid game, so I feel like what Eel is trying to accomplish here is to buffer through the early to middle game with Squizzard and Mine, maybe hit a timing with the Boar, and if all else fails, he can go into the ultra late game with Owl Falcon, which is just a fantastic army composition.
You know, Eel's been obviously working on this patch for some time now. I wouldn't imagine that he entered this tournament with a slight idea to test out some things against actual competing players to see how sort of ideas that he's thought up in his own patch notes might be working.
Yeah,
on the real end.
Eel is one of the community devs, part of the Pocketwatch team, helps keep Tooth and Tail updated and deals with the balance and stuff. And I think a lot of the high level players kind of put their heads together for the balance and that sort of thing. You know what's really cool between these two decks though, AV, is like, look at Lego Man's deck. Lego Man's deck is such a mid-game powerhouse, right? Like, he's got all these tier 2 options available. While Eel, I feel like Eel kind of wants to take it late.
Yeah, I sort of like the idea of having so many options to play on, but then you're sort of, at that point, reacting to your opponent's play rather than actually having a game plan of your own. And most of the time, especially in the game of Tooth and Tail, it's best to have your own game plan going in.
Yeah.
And reacting doesn't always work out.
Yeah, Lego Man's deck's a little bit of a jack of all trades, master of none type thing, you know, where it can be really good to, really in any deck building game, you really want laser focus. It depends. Lego's a little bit mid-rangey here. He's got a lot of options, can play very reactive, but it's definitely different than, you know, say a deck that takes a lot of tier 1 and mines and skunks, and it says, okay, my plan is to take this early. You know, it sees that mine, goes ahead and pops it off. Very nice. Those mines are stealthed, but Lego Man saw it building. You can see the mines when they're being built. So this is shaping up to be a completely different match so far. We're in second base. We look like we're in a macro situation, and now scouting is paramount for both these players. You need to keep a very sharp eye on how many farms your opponent's building, what kind of tech they're going into. Good scout here from Eel, sees that Lego has 2 farms and is going for double tier 2.
Looks like both players content to building their own infrastructure before trying an attack. Yeah, complete polar opposite of the last game where it was non-stop, one base till the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so this is a very technical phase of the game here. You really need to keep a close eye on what your opponent's doing. And the general rule of thumb is, okay, if they have 3 farms on their second base, I want to get 4, you know. I just want to stay like 1 farm ahead. You don't want to get too many farms ahead and open yourself up to getting too behind on army and maybe getting run over in an engagement. And you also don't want to get too far behind, as we saw in the match with Octopi and Blissey, where your opponent can just win in the numbers game.
Yeah, Eel going pure Falcon, and as we said earlier, Lego Man sort of putting his money all across the board here. I wonder who's going to put down the Snake Warren next to get the quadruple tier 2.
Ooh, these chameleons.
Get off 1 farm.
Yeah, nicely done. These chameleons coming in, bapping down a pig, getting out of there in time. And here's that big tier 3. It's going to be the Boar.
And it'll be coming out 5 seconds faster compared to last patch.
And you know what? The Boar might not be exactly what Eel wants here, because Lego Man really doesn't have a whole lot of tier 1. Does he get the scout, though? So far, he doesn't. But the Boar is still a solid unit. It's going to do just fine against those cams and skunks and stuff as well. But all these Falcons coming out from Lego Man, I think Lego is building these Falcons in response to just seeing Eel with so many Falcons, you know?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. And he's adding on more squirrels as well. That's pretty smart. If he didn't respond to this, it's likely that Lego Man would lose the air battle, and then a lot of his units can't even hit air. The skunks being the...
Oh, you're right. Yeah. That's a good point. It still hasn't seen this boar, Warren, and the boar coming out faster now. Okay, finally sees it. Is probably not going to be happy that he just threw down a bunch of tier 1, but he's not overboard. He doesn't have 30 squirrels or anything like that. Yeah, he's going to sell off a couple of them. I think that's smart. And get the snake. The snake is a great unit to deal with the tier 3s.
It's great he had that initial falcon response, because boar cannot hit flying units, so the mass falcon should do well here. Now we're at 10v10 falcon. I think there is an opportunity for Eel here once this boar comes out. He has the air superiority. Man, heavy air superiority, barely any tier 1 going. Let's see what he decides to do here.
That's so many falcons, 10 falcons here, and he's got the boar as well. This is a really cool composition. The boar handles the ground forces, the falcon can sit in the back, and the falcons are a little bit like a glass cannon kind of unit, you know, so they got their boar, which is like their tank in the front, you know, and the lizards. You know, those are the grunts of the army. But this is a lot of falcons from LEGO too. This is really going to come down to the engagement. You know, if you're LEGO man, you want to kill that boar, but you also don't want to just focus it and run your army into it while not attacking, you know what I mean? Like, you can lose a lot of damage if you try to over-focus units. But we'll see.
Especially now with the new Falcons, their recharge time after firing their initial DPS is nearly double. So yeah, if you misfire there, there's a good chance you're not applying DPS where it needs to during a fight.
Yeah, this is really going to come down to the engagement, to the micro, to the decision making on what I'm going to target. I mean, maybe if you're LEGO man, you don't go ham with all your falcons and take out the boar. Instead, maybe you just use the snakes here to try to target the boar, you know what I mean?
Yeah, leaving the falcons to DPS and then hopefully being able to squeeze your snakes in there to do that damage over time. And there are no pigeons on Eel's side, so yeah, there is a big opportunity there.
Yeah, I wouldn't even hate to see 4 snakes in this position. What's kind of interesting too is when your armies are this big, you want to be careful about target firing because you can waste a lot of DPS, right? Like if you took all 10 of your falcons, if you're Eel, and tried to target down individual falcons with LEGO, you're just overkilling those falcons and wasting a lot of damage. A little bit of an exception on the boar though, because the boar's got like 100 HP, you know.
Man, Eel going for 2 owls next.
Yeah, this is, you know, I really feel like LEGO man has to attack here. I think Eel's in the driver's seat because Eel can sit back and is going to mass up a better late game army. Eel has access to plenty more bases here. And LEGO man, well, I guess LEGO man's got access to 4. You know, this one over to the side at the 2 o'clock's a little awkward, but if you look at the mini-map, the way that the ramps are, I don't think it's too bad to defend all that area.
Absolutely no tier 1 from LEGO man. Straight into higher tech.
Yeah, just saying, you know what? You got the boar. I'm not giving you any squirrels to roast.
Yeah.
Nice job here with these chameleons. This should for sure go down. And what's cool about doing little things like this is LEGO man doesn't really bring his whole army out of position, and plus these cams can just go ahead and sneak back into the shadows.
I'm a bit scared for LEGO man here. Yeah, he's got a lot of tech, but I'm wondering if there's just going to be so many numbers.
That is so many.
With that said, units do need space and tiles to shoot. There's too many tier 1s running around on the outside edges. Could be enough time for all these tier 2 to put down their work.
Look at all those tier 2 Warrens. It's insane from LEGO here. And LEGO man can't be happy after seeing these owls because not only are these mice, you know, free units that can come in over time after they respawn here. Now he knows, because both these players don't know what deck comps each other have, right? Like, they're playing blind in that regard. So now LEGO man knows that Eel has these owls, and these owls will just stack over time. And once you get 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, I mean, it is just insane. And here we go, finally into the big engagement here. Just a mass of units at the moment. It's hard to tell exactly what's going on. Eel's doing a good job trying to micro his owls, but LEGO man actually got the poison tags through all that chaos on the owls. Unbelievable here. Phenomenal play from LEGO man. I can't believe he actually was able to target those owls down with his snakes. That's huge.
exceedingly even here. This will be the time where players are going to make a decision on what to sell, because there's no way they're reinforcing all this back, so what type of sells are they going to do? Eel selling both his Owl Warrens, getting a huge dump of money.
Yeah, you've got to...
Bit indecisive.
Yeah, you've got to sell things off. You've been spending the entire game building up this massive army. You got to sell off some of these Warrens and just get back out on the board whatever you can. Look at that army value graph, man. That is such like a steep, immediate drop.
And surprisingly even. It was just a massive tier 1 army versus a massive tier 2, and it came out even.
Yeah, you're right. That was a very, very even trade.
A lot of pigeons, wow.
However, Eel is getting back up and running a lot faster because he has those tier 1 Warrens, and tier 1 units build very quickly. I think it's like 10 seconds or something like that. So they're able to get back out on the field in no time, and that makes his follow-up attack from Eel very deadly. He's still got plenty of Falcons here to reinforce, and he even managed to get another Boar, which should be marching across the map at the moment. So maybe Eel is going to take this game here and tie up the series. Yep, Lego's going to tap.
I think you're right. I think the mass tier 1 there just, the fight was even, but he was just able to reinforce so much faster. Wow.
Really cool game.
Exciting play for both.
And for the players watching on Steam, I highly, highly recommend, if you're interested in this game, to join the Pocketwatch Discord. It makes the playing experience so much better, and being part of the community and stuff. It's always very, very easy to find people to play with, events like this to get involved in, and even just talk about strategies and unit discussions and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, the Discord is such an important part of the game, you know? But anywho, let us continue into match number 3. We're tied up 1-1 right now. Are you ready, AV?
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1, go. Alright, spawning on the left, we've got Lego Man. And his opponent to the right, Illuminatus. I'm super hyped that we've been seeing these players really changing up decks constantly. You know, I've casted tournaments where you'd have, this guy's a big culprit of that, where he kind of had his deck, you know, like the this guy deck. And it was just a solid build, right? And it was interesting because it existed in a meta where he was like, you know, I don't care if you know what I'm doing. I'm going to do it so well that it doesn't matter. But you see here, these players are constantly changing it up and trying to get an edge on their opponent. You know, you don't want to be predictable. If I'm in a best of 5 or a best of 7 series against you and you keep bringing the same deck over and over, then I can start putting units into my deck that counter some of your key units, you know?
You're not wrong. There was a time where, you know, during a tournament, a meta would shift towards a clear direction, and then a build would be developed from that. But based on the games I've casted the last several months with you, it's, man, we're just seeing players do, just be tremendously creative in everything they're doing.
So far, both these players have scouted out that they're both going for 8 farm openings, which is kind of the most economic build you can go for. It's kind of like a fast expand in StarCraft. Well, I guess we have fast expands too, but and now we're following that up with 2 tier 1 Warrens. We call this in the industry the 8 farm double. Very, very standard way to start the match off. I'm really hyped to see both players here have the Wolf unit. The Wolf here is the tier 3 that buffs up other units and makes them move and shoot faster, which can pair up really cool with units like Falcons and Skunks and stuff, you know?
Though we can't shoot, probably one of the more versatile tier 3s and what it can accomplish.
Yeah, it can even buff up your economy or the production rate from your Warrens. And so far, these guys just kind of feeling each other out, seeing what's going on, building a bunch of tier 1. Lego Man did get that Skunk Warren down, and it has been seen by Eel. Eel doesn't know it's Skunks per se, but he does know that Lego Man is trying to tech up here.
There's some annoying high ground here that Eel is trying to use to his advantage. Got a few retreating units.
Yeah, but it's real difficult for Lizards to attack in to a fortified position with squirrels like that. You know, what Lizards really want to do is run around like a path like that, for example, and try to hit the back door. Or they want to take a big engagement in the open. There they can shine as well. But when you got squirrels that are hunkered down behind Warrens, behind pigs, it's very difficult for those Lizards to really shine. And this is looking good for Lego Man, in my opinion. He's got the superior tech. This is a one-base game, so we're very aggressive here, and Lego Man's thinking about turning it up the heat. Pushing forward, gonna grab that tank mill that we talked about earlier. And here's the big fight. These lizards want to try to get on top of these skunks and knock them out, but the pigeons keeping the skunk alive. That's huge. This attack is going very well for Lego Man. However, the snake is now here for Eel and gets out a couple stacks of poison, but is gonna get targeted down. However, the snake did kind of do its job as those skunks got eliminated, and Eel manages to hold that engagement without taking really any structural damage. I don't think he lost any warrants or anything, did he?
No, he did not. Really, the big takeaway from that fight is both players' tier 2s did go down, and they have to rebuild that. 120 food going towards reinforcing those units.
Yeah, and we're almost at the dreaded 5-minute mark here. These farms, these pigs, your income, they only last for 5 minutes, which puts a really fast clock on Tooth and Tail. What's really fun about Tooth and Tail is most of the matches only last like 5 or 10 minutes. So you can really get a lot of bang for your buck out of your gaming time. Play a bunch of matches even if you only have like an hour or something. And we see these lizards really shining with that retreat. Gonna knock out that Warren. That gristmill went down in the back. But you gotta be careful about overextending here. Gonna take that Warren, and yeah, Eel's gonna pull back. I think that's smart.
Lizards in an open field, Del.
That's what you want, man. I should have my skins on. I used to have a whole bunch of skins. My favorite is probably a Lizard Wizard. They had little wizard hats.
Right. They shot little fireballs.
Little fireballs. There was actually the winter pack where they're like little skiing lizards. Like they had like skis, and the spears were like I don't know. I live in Florida. I don't know what those are called. The ski poles. You know what I mean? Is there a proper term for those?
Ski poles? You mean the like ski lift?
No, like what are is there a word for those things, that you like stab into the ground as you're skiing?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Del, I have no idea.
Yeah, man, I'm in the south here.
I think they're for balance or something?
Yeah.
Or roast marshmallows on?
They have multiple uses to skewer your enemies. Alright, these snakes moving out. These snakes are slow. They can be punished by lizards, but Lego Man doesn't have lizards. So what Eel wants to do is try to poke here and deal some damage. But Lego Man does have his own snakes, and he's got pigeons, and pigeons can help mitigate against that snake poison. They're just called poles, says the chat. Alright. Fair enough. Alright. We got some more falcons on the way. There's no wolf yet. Alright, we do have second bases. And these second bases I don't think were by choice, They're kind of forced into it at this point in the game, as their main bases are starting to run dry here.
Yeah, we're in that awkward moment where both players were pretty highly aggressive in the early game and didn't allow them to get expansions, and now no player wants to move into attack because both players' economies are just wrecked right now. So there'll be a moment of just sort of recovery.
Come on, let me see a wolf. Who's gonna do it? Eel's selling some stuff off, but he's probably gonna wait for Lego Man to leave. Yeah, I think he wants to. Yeah, you see, builds the falcon, so that's what Lego Man saw. And now he's going to throw down that juicy tier 3 Warren. Pretty bold, seeing how we have such a small economy here.
Yeah, I guess if Lego Man does not scout this out, there's an opportunity for Eel to jump back into the game a little bit faster, because Lego Man is also trying to recover his economy. He's not in a position to attack. At least I don't think he is. And if Eel gets that wolf out, he's going to be able to bolster and get his farms up a little bit quicker.
Yeah, at this phase in the game, the wolf being down, I mean, the defender's advantage is still real for Eel, so he's not super far behind in army. But what's hard is it's difficult to actually get your commander in past the opponent's army to actually scout anymore, Like, it's real difficult. Eel's been doing a great job at keeping this tier 3 healing up.
He wants to see if that tier 3 is there.
That was so smart. And there he goes. He sees it. Really well played from Lego Man.
Oh, and he's going to try to push in right now.
Yeah, he's going to try to...
Scary.
This is the perfect timing, because 360 food is invested into that wolf. 180 to build the Warren, 180 for the unit itself. So now is the moment to try to move in. However, that wolf is almost halfway out. Good engagement so far for Lego Man here. Really good engagement. This might be critical damage. He's going to get the mill. He ran over that army, and now we got the wolf, but the wolf just doesn't do anything on its own. It's a support unit. It's trying to buff up units of its opponent, or units of its allied army. And there we go. Lego Man takes it with a sharp timing there.
Wow. What a great burrow fake to go in for a scout. Just see that tier 3. That decided the game.
That burrow fake was dope, man. That was awesome. I'm glad you pointed it out because I didn't catch it. But that was huge because Eel was trying to keep Lego Man out of his base until he got that tier 3 up, right? And he was doing a really good job of flexing with his army to try to kill the commander before it could scout. So what happened there was Eel was like chasing the commander down, and then, oh, okay, the commander's burrowing home. Now I can put my army back in the proper position near my expansion. But no, Lego Man actually didn't burrow, and then he went in, got the timing out, realized he had the opportunity, went in there and sealed the deal. Okay, so we're going into match number 4. Are you ready, AV?
Will this go the distance? I'm ready.
We could have a match 5. That'd be hype. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, in the bottom left, we've got Lego Man and his opponent to the right, Eel Luminatus. I think Lego Man is rocking the same deck, and Eel's got a little bit of a variant. He tried to fit that owl back in here. The mines seem great too, by the way, especially if you have a greedy battle plan. You know, if you want to try to get up a fast expansion, maybe get up to a tier 3, you know, or maybe a unit like a ferret in the mid game. A couple well-placed mines to defend that push on your natural can really make or break the game.
This isn't a bad map for mines either. There's a lot of river and tiny bridges on this map, and there are clear, quick lanes through to put mines. Which, speaking of, there's definitely an opportunity for a wolf play as well. Rush distance is going to be so slow.
Yeah, I see people in the chat asking about if there are events and stuff going on for Tooth and Tail. There are. This is actually a Tooth and Tail league that we are calling Tooth and Tail Championship 2020, which this is actually the first day of it. We're just kicking it off now. And if you guys are watching on Steam and maybe this is the first time seeing the game, you're thinking about getting it while it's on sale for $5 right now, I can't stress enough, you know, get in the Discord. The Discord is the spot to be. It's real easy to find people to play with, to stay up to date on different tournaments and events and stuff going on. We've got several events, actually. Jet Erickson hosts a monthly tournament. There's automated bots tournaments that happen every week. But back to this game, Eel actually faked out Lego Man. He started with the tier 2, and then he sold it and went back into the tier 1 Warren, and is now going to expand, which Lego matched that early tier 2 with his own, but he's going to keep it, which, to be honest, I think he's probably fine, because this map is so big and awkward. The rush distance is very, very far. He can probably get away with getting these snakes out. However, Eel is building up a bunch of lizards, which on paper do great against the snakes. But it looks like we have a macro game on our hands. I'm actually having a lot of fun with this series, you know. Like, they kind of keep going from an aggressive game to an eco game to an aggressive game to an eco game, with a lot of variance in their deck compositions and stuff. So this has been a real pleasure casting this one so far.
Yeah, and that's sort of the essence of Tooth and Tail, is that sometimes the map does dictate how the players will play, and you've got to, you know, respond in kind to what it gives you.
All right, so both players are just kind of trying to sniff out what's going on the other side of the map. They're doing a good job keeping up with their scouts. Here we see Eel trying to get in again, but wants to find the right angle to not just get murdered upon by these snakes. If your commander dies, it's not a big deal. They just respawn back at home, but it can matter in an engagement because now you can't control your army anymore. I mean, I can't count the amount of games I've lost or seen other people lose because their commander dies in the middle of a fight, you know?
Yeah, that typically happens after a long game because over time your commanders gain an HP because there are more units on the map and you can get killed faster.
Yep.
And if you go straight into a early game battle, sometimes you forget, oh no, my commander doesn't have as much HP as they did.
Here we go, boys. The Tier 3 Warren has been placed down by Eel. Lego Man has not scouted it. And getting in to scout that is going to be difficult. However, I don't think we're in that same critical spot we were last game. Like, I don't feel like Lego Man could even come in here and break Eel like he did in the previous match, because we're in more of an eco situation. You know, when you've got so much money floating around, you know, squeezing out a Tier 3 is a lot easier than, like, last game where they were on only a few farms at that point. Now we do see Lego Man gets that scout that is very critical. He should be fine with it since he's got his own wolf on the way, and Eel has not seen the wolf of his opponent just yet.
You know, both players going for wolf here, it's really going to matter at this point what they choose to invest the wolf into. Is it going to be more units production? Is it going to be into the pig farms?
Yeah, and so far Lego Man's got a bit of an eco lead too. He's able to saturate up that second base a little faster, but I imagine Eel will be taking that 8th farm here shortly. Just trying to be super duper safe. Oh, yeah, alright. Double Tier 3 on the way.
Oh.
And players are...
use that wolf to make that owl come out a little bit faster.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a lot more Tier 3 play than we have in the previous weeks, because on this patch, it used to be it takes 50 seconds for the Warren to build and then 50 seconds for the unit to build. Now it's 45-45, so these Tier 3s get out quite a bit faster. And now here's the wolf, and the little lightning bolts mean it's getting buffed up, so he's going to want to put this wolf over his pigs, and that's essentially giving him double farms at the moment, which is bananas. But there's a drawback. That means the pigs will farm out more quickly. And Lego Man should be following suit. Lego Man trying to get this third base established out here in the middle of the map. Eel does have his own third he can take.
You know, this is interesting. Typically on Tooth and Tail maps, we always see that defining mill. That's somehow always situated on a second or third tier high ground. But here, both players have their own expansions, and there's just a no man's land in between those final expansions. So we're probably just going to see one big battle at some point based on how these players eco up over the next minute or so.
Yeah, I think this high ground in between the 2-3 bases is going to be critical. Whoever ends up kind of controlling that is going to have so much tempo in this game. And, you know, Lego Man does have flying units in his composition, so he is going to have high ground vision regardless, which is nice, but trying to move through this water that slows your units down. It does give them extra healing, which is cool. Ooh. Oh, trying to get this wolf buff on these snakes so they're Vroomy boys to get in here and deal some harassment, but this is a little dangerous with lizards on the other side. He did get a pig, though, and he got out scot-free, so nice, nice plays there. And that's also one of those awkward pigs, too, where there's not that much wheat left there. So it's like, do I even really want to retake that?
That'll be his starvation farm if it comes to it. Buffing out that second owl. Yeah, Eel's got quite the late game ahead of him. Buffed up mice can be really annoying to units.
Ooh, we've got Mishi in the chat. We've got Dino in the chat. These are some players coming up soon. What's up, Mishi? Good to see you. As always, here we go. The Vroomy Snakes are looking to get some extra damage done. Lego Man is trying to get some footing here on the high ground, but Eel is not going to let it just happen. We got the big engagement coming out now. It's kind of difficult to keep track of what's going on, but both players are trying to focus down key units of their opponents, and it looks like Lego Man is going to come out on top. He's got plenty of Tier 2 left. Like, Lego Man just rolled over that engagement. Wow. That was nowhere near as close as we saw in that previous match, you know, with that big, steep fall in the graph that was very, very tight.
Yeah, I don't think Eel had the mice fully saturated there, so it was just a sort of a large blimp that came in and died, and that's about 180 food, not into the tech units that Lego Man had. Now he's just sort of running over Eel in this case.
Yeah, and that might be it for this series. It looks like Lego Man is going to win 3-1. Keep in mind, this event, it's more of a league than it is a tournament, to be fair. Like, this is round robin, so this doesn't mean Eel is out or Blissey is out or anything like that. They just lost one match in their round-robin divisions, so there's going to be a whole lot of matches coming up. We'll be casting some of them. We've got some other casters lined up, as well. And okay, I think we're ready to hop back into some live matches here. Again, how's it going, everybody on Steam? You usual viewers, I apologize if I'm over-explaining things, but just trying to maybe help some people that are seeing the game for the first time get a feel for what's going on. And let me talk to some TOs here, see what we got coming up next. I believe we are supposed to go into Weasel versus Dino next. So let me get the scoreboard ready. You wanna ramble a little for me, AV, while I do this?
Yeah, I think this tournament is fantastic because it separates the skills of players into 3 separate categories, as you mentioned: beginner, intermediate, and premier. It allows the more newer players, and we're seeing new players every day, every week, come into the game, and it's nice to sort of play against players of your own level in a more competitive environment instead of, I guess, if you're in sort of bracket play, you play one game, get smashed by someone like Mishi or this guy, the gentleman, and then maybe get a little bit discouraged. But there's opportunities here to learn against players of your own skill. And then remind me, I think you said that the top players of each division goes into an actual bracket play to show off their stuff.
I believe so. I need to brush up on that, but I think the idea is the top players from each bracket from there go into either a single or a double elim, like kind of challenge style tournament at that point. Let me see, who am I supposed to be messaging? Weasel and Dino. I believe they're next. Okay. And
do you have a lobby up?
I do.
Okay, I'll hop in. Hopefully lag is not an issue. I want to stay in and watch. Now, based on the patch notes, we have yet to see artillery come out, because not only did tier 3 units get the 5-second reduction in build time, we also saw the artillery get the 5 seconds.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if anyone decides to try to get one of those out, secure a position on the map a little bit faster than they normally would have. And looks like the players are ready to get into the match. If you're ready.
Yeah, I told them to go.
All right.
Immediately. So if you guys are on Steam and you have any questions here, I am checking out the chat, so don't be shy. Ask away, and I'll try to get to it. I wish I was a better broadcaster and knew how to change the title, but I think you guys have figured out that this is indeed not story mode.
Hey, storylines are being built.
That is true. This is the TnT Championship 2020 story mode here. In the bottom left, we've got Red Dino. And over to the right, Lieutenant Weasel, Revolutionary Weasel. Now, we've seen Weasel all over the place. We've seen Citizen Weasel. I think we've seen Sergeant Weasel. Just going up and down. Right now, they're Revolutionary, though. Rocking that Hopper. Hopper, in the Tooth and Tail lore, is kind of the common folk, Viva la Revolution kind of player. So the name fits. And let's see how these players want to approach it. We are back on live games. And we see that Ferret Mine, which, to be honest, I think is a really good style. And Lizard as well. I think P-Boop was making fun of me for not picking up on Dino's playstyle being very defined by Lizard Ferret, which I think last Feast, I can't remember who it was because I have a terrible memory, but we saw somebody rock Lizard Ferret on the Feast the other day, and it was really effective. So I think maybe that's what Dino's going to go for here. With some mines to back it up. But Revolutionary Weasel going for the 4-farm double. I was chatting too much.
Here.
And I was chatting too much and I missed who actually started this pre-8-farm war. I want to say it's Weasel because Dino's got the extra farm. So I think Weasel probably went for the 4-farm double. And then Dino responded accordingly. And now we have, we're kicking this series off very fast. These lizards here, Dino's being hesitant because they don't do the best job of attacking into a defensive line. But nice hold there by Dino. And is going to double down here and continue to build warrens. Could maybe get this warren out here on its own.
Yeah, these warrens are pretty precariously placed. They're not near the pigs to get that extra defense, but squirrels are already pretty great at doing that.
Nice positioning here from Weasel. Bringing Dino back for the moment. He's just going to go home for now and get up to that 8-farm economy. Weasel should scout this and should probably match suit. You don't want to get behind in farms in the early game here. But no, gonna go up to 12 squirrels. All right, now gonna queue that farm. Oh, here it comes. All the lizard players rejoice.
He's got 1 or 2 here, easy. Especially with Weasel out.
That is so fun to do and so annoying to play against. Like, I would be so tilted right now if I was Weasel. Yeah, he's just gonna come in here for the counterattack, but I don't know, lizards might do okay.
Yeah, I guess he was hoping for a pincer or some kind of backstab with the lizards on the way back, but lizards are so much faster than squirrels. Now this is a bit scary for Weasel. The lizards can just come out and potentially wipe the floor with these.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to target fire, and great target fire from both sides. Weasel is up a couple squirrels, but he didn't win that by enough to matter, and now he's got to be careful. These squirrels are not going to be able to retreat home. These lizards are just so much faster, and are going to knock him out. On the way, that was a really big win for Dino there. He just got a ton of extra squirrels for free, and this might start snowballing into his favor. But we might have a game number 2 on our hands.
Yeah, every pick-off mattered there because Weasel was on such low eco from that lizard hit. Great play. Great lizard usage.
Yeah, a very fast game number 1. I think Weasel initiated that. So I'm going to keep a closer eye on the early game here. It's kind of funny because in the early game I typically, try to ramble on while players go 8 farms, but sometimes they don't go 8 farms, and I miss it like that, so I apologize. In the bottom we've got Weasel spawning in here, and his opponent up top we've got Dino. Same comp from Dino. I think Weasel changed it up a little bit, but I'm not 100%. Is it the same comp from Dino? Maybe not. He's still got lizard, ferret, mine. Yeah, it is different. I don't think he had toads last time, did he?
Yeah, I don't think he had the toads.
But I don't really have the exact compositions ingrained in my brain because all we really saw last game were lizards and squirrels.
We had a farm sell and he's going for a warren. Maybe do some more early game harass.
Going for the double there. 5-farm double right in front of Weasel. Weasel knows it's coming and is going to go for this 6-farm double as an appropriate response. I probably would have my warrens up front. I don't think the lizards are going to get here in time to really threaten those, and you want those to help defend your pigs. But he's got to be safe and put him in the back. And this is a very short rush distance here, so Dinos might...
2.
Yeah, 2 is enough, but 3 is a party. And he's going to come in. 3 is definitely enough to take out a pig.
Squirrel's just out.
Ooh, barely gets it. So that's an even trade money-wise, but slowing down the economy from Weasel, that's definitely a victory for Dino there. We have a very aggressive series on our hands. And Weasel is just waiting. Now he's got plenty of squirrels. He should be able to defend any additional aggression for the time being. And Dino going up to 3 tier 1 here. Not going up to 8 farms just yet.
I think it's important here to understand when your opportunity is a bit lost.
Yeah,
now he's going to start falling farther and farther behind in eco.
Yeah, I think Weasel's decision to get a little bit faster up on the economy is evening things out. And I think overall we're in a fairly even spot. Yeah, Dino did get that farm, but keep in mind when that happened, Weasel had 6 farms, Dino only had 5. So Dino's economy suffered to be able to do that early aggression, He really needed to get more damage than that to have a clear lead off of it. I'd say the players are pretty even at the moment. And Lizards are not that good at defending. Lizards have a lot of strengths, but defense is not one of them. This could be a deadly attack here from Weasel if he plays this right. Lizards coming in, but these squirrels just mowing them down. That choke that they had to go through and how much damage they took while they were trying to run through and find their own tile. You know, like, units have to be on their own tile to actually fire. So Dino's forces ended up taking a ton of damage from the range of those squirrels before the fight even began. That was a huge victory here for Weasel.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest issues with Lizards is that their range is much smaller than squirrels, so they, as you said, have to find that space. And there was like a split second of time there where they had to find that spot to attack. And in Tooth and Tail, the game's so fast, those split seconds matter. Now we're about to see some potential jukes from Dino to say in this game.
All right, Chameleon's coming down here from Weasel. I think that's a smart follow-up. Chameleon's a very, very good early to mid-game unit, and they do phenomenal against Lizards. They're just big, bulky meat shields that do a ton of damage to boot. Love these mines, but Weasel scouts him, and he's going to take him out. That's an extra 40 food in the pocket of Weasel here. And Ferret's on the way from Dino. I don't think that's really what he needs, but his tier 2, like these Ferrets and these Snakes are really awesome, fun units, but they're kind of like tech units, you know? They're good at specific things, where units like Skunks and Chameleons are just all about that direct engagement. So maybe Dino can come back with some good Ferret play. You know, that is definitely a way to extract some value. Now keep in mind, Dino did take some damage, but he's not out of this yet. He is falling more and more behind, though, because Weasel has about the same army Dino does, plus an expansion. So his economy is about to just start going through the roof here. Oh, man, that Ferret going down. That is rough for Dino.
Oh no.
I saw his commander standing still. I was wondering if he was just going to tap right there. But this is a tournament match. There's no reason to give up too early. But this attack from Weasel is looking like it could be deadly.
Yeah, Ferrets and Lizards are tough to defend with in there. We see the tap out.
All right, Weasel fighting back, tying things up 1-1.
And is this best of 5, not best of 3?
Yeah, this is best of 5. The beginner league is best of 3, and intermediate and premier are best of 5.
Dino spamming the random button for a second there, keeping some of the units that's popped up. What's he thinking?
Oh, Dino, come on. Ah.
Oh.
You were almost hyped there. You want to see some Artie. All right, guys. In the bottom, we've got Lieutenant Weasel, his opponent to the right, Red Dino. And we see some very different decks from both sides here. Ferret Turret, which is a bit more of a siege unit. The Ferrets are kind of like the siege tank of this game. And the Fox, my personal favorite unit, is a really fun, kind of high-risk, high-reward, high-micro style unit. They run really fast, they got long distance, they deal a lot of damage, they're kind of like a sniper that's really quick. However, they can't hurt buildings, and compared to some of the other tier 3, they don't deal as much damage in direct engagements. With the Fox, you kind of want to run around, you know, pick off a pig here, you know, flank your opponent, grab a falcon, that kind of thing. Where a unit like the boar or the badger just wants to smash through, you know. And we see some mole rushing from Dino. No, he decides to fake it out. And instead a 6-farm double from Dino, so again, we have very aggressive openings. And Dino trying to play a little bit of mind games, wanting Revolutionary Weasel to prepare for the double coming up, but instead he sells off a single Warren and gets his own economy up. So Weasel's going to come up here and see he's been bamboozled. And that's a little advantage for Dino here in the early game. He got his 8 farms up just a bit faster, and Weasel can't really attack. So nice little mind games there from Dino, edging out a small advantage.
Yeah, that's pretty smart, considering the last several games have been pretty fast-paced. It's not too out of the realms to think that Dino would do it again.
Yeah, that's true. He's been rushing so much. You kind of expect it at this point. And the ferret's going down, so we're seeing Dino again with this patented lizard ferret style. And typically, at least the way I look at things, I love the ferret unit as well, but the ferret's not really like the first tier 2 you get. You kind of want to get the skunk or chameleon or something like that. That's a real powerhouse unit. Taking the ferret's a bit riskier, but let's see if Dino can make it happen. It can work for sure. It's a kind of a high risk, high reward play. And did Weasel see the tier 2 there? He did. Doesn't know which tier 2 it is. And meanwhile, Weasel's taking this secret base over to the side. Ooh. Looked like Dino tried to do a sneaky lizard attack, but got caught there by Weasel and punished pretty hard.
Yeah, he was waiting in the bottom corner there for about 10 or 15 seconds. I think he might have been waiting for Weasel to come in to scout and see that red dot, but he sort of mistimed it. He just, as you saw, lost all his lizards there.
Yeah, now Weasel's got a very strong force of Squirrel Lizard, or as we coin it, Squizzard here. Comes in, knocks out a couple Warrens, and goes home. These turrets from Dino were nice. The turrets are a great little defensive unit. What I like the most about the turrets is that they build very, very quickly, so you don't need to just have them sitting around. You can just kind of build them in a pinch, like we saw Dino do there. And Dino with the toads, that's going to be useful as Weasel is building up a lot of lizards. Lizards tend to stack up when they move around, and these toads deal AoE damage. Oh my gosh! Okay, I thought that was going to be worse. But there was some really good toad connections, but it wasn't quite enough, and these ferrets are getting caught. Oh, there we go. Those were still some good toad hits. I thought all those lizards were going to get deleted.
Yeah, this is a tough army to fight into and to chase. Those toads, I assume Weasel will probably opt to sell some of these. I think he might have sold at least one, but...
Yeah, and keep in mind, too, Weasel's got that second base, and
yeah, he does.
What's worse is Dino doesn't even know. So Dino thinks he's in a better spot, but, Dino's army is looking pretty strong here. The addition of these toads really adds some explosive burst damage here if you can get the right connections. And here we go again. These toads just obliterated everything. That was the hit he was looking for, and this looks like it's geared up to be a Dino victory here.
Yeah, I love the composition. Stay on the back lines and force it to fight. But if the fight does happen, as you saw, those toads make huge connections, especially in such a heavy lizard army like Weasel's right now.
2 HP on that ferret, though. Weasel's got to be a little frustrated about that. Getting that ferret would have been huge. That's 60 food. That's 20 more seconds to build another ferret.
Here's the thing, though. Dino's got to be careful. He doesn't want to take a huge trade here, especially in army value, because Weasel has the additional farms. It'll be harder for him to reinforce.
All right, these toads coming in again and getting a lot of damage done.
Ouch.
But the real story here is these ferrets on the back line. I love these proxy turrets, too, here from Dino. He took that mill to expand his territory so he could build these turrets to fall back on. This is kind of the classic siege style.
Yes, I love this.
For me, it's a lot of fun to play, but I think most people agree it's very frustrating to play against.
Oh, certainly. You feel like you're not able to do anything. You're in this sort of contain where the other player is dictating how you must proceed.
Yeah, and it just kind of goes from bad to worse, because you can't really... if you can't fight the army straight up, then you're just going to sit here and take more and more damage. But Little Dinkle in chat asks, are these randomly generated maps? These are. There is a custom map mode, and we do tournaments on custom maps that people make, but the vast majority of Tooth and Tail is played on randomly generated maps. It keeps the meta in the games really fresh. And by the way, thanks for the follow, dude. I noticed you followed earlier, so I appreciate it, man. Welcome to Tooth and Tail.
Wow, and this is something we haven't seen in a while or very often is these ferret versus ferrets. Weasel with the great counter to keep Dino from pushing into his own. And those toads not doing nearly as much because Weasel transitioned out of the lizard and now is doing straight squirrel ferret.
How did Weasel claw his way back into this? Maybe it was that second base, just that extra income. And like
extra income and getting out his own ferret really put the hurting on Dino. And now he's starving.
Uh-oh, this is not looking good. What a comeback here from Weasel. I thought for sure he was down and out. That's the second time today that I've called it too early.
It was a fantastic tech switch into no lizard and to ferrets of his own, and that was perfect.
Oh my gosh. I looked away for like a split second to look at the chat a little bit, and I come back and Weasel is just winning. That's insane.
What's the score now? 2-2 or 2-1?
It is 2-1. Weasel up a map.
All right.
Okay, here we go. These players thinking about their last choices here. And thanks everybody for tuning in. As always, it's always a lot of fun. I'm really stoked for this event. Again, we have over 50 people involved, so the scene is doing great. I'm really excited about that. Hey, that's a huge tournament, man. 50 plus people. In the bottom, we've got Lieutenant Weasel up a map, and up top, we've got Dino rocking that fox again.
All right, let's see if we see Dino go for his usual early game trickery. But I doubt we'll see anything actually aggressive. The rush distance is pretty far here.
Thanks for the follow, Avaso. Welcome. Hope you're enjoying this Tooth and Tail.
As I say, there's that first Warren.
Ooh, here we go. It's nothing but aggression out of these two. 5-farm Warren here from Dino. And if you're Weasel, you might be... I'm not sure if you're going to respect that as much now. You know, maybe you might think Dino's just playing some mind games, and he is. He sold the Warren already, so... Again, Dino positions himself to be more ahead in this early game. Going to get out to that 8 farms a lot quicker than normal.
Yeah, this is if he wishes an easy 8 farm, he's got that high ground and the long rush distance.
Yeah, you're
opting for the tier 1 first.
You're right, Mishi. Dino was not aware of this second base last game. And here we go, 8 farm tier 2. Normally this is a little bit dangerous. However, since this is such a big, long map, you can get away with this kind of thing. And the snake is a wonderful unit to poke and prod at your opponent with, kind of like ferrets. Ooh.
Oh.
What happened there? Uh-oh.
Oh, we lost a player.
Did you just disconnect?
Yeah, Weasel must have crashed. He's no longer in the lobby.
Okay. No problem. This kind of thing happens from time to time. Not a big deal. If you're watching us on Steam, you're probably aware of this already, but Tooth and Tail is on sale right now, man. $5 is all you need for a ticket to ride, and it's a really fun game. I love it. I'm a huge RTS guy. You know, I'm a 90s kid, so I've been playing StarCraft since it launched, and Tooth and Tail for me really is a fun way to have this like RTS experience without feeling really pressured to do like all this APM and keep up. And a lot of players that play Tooth and Tail play StarCraft too. Like I know Araloo, for example, he's a Grandmaster StarCraft player. We had Print F. If anybody's familiar with the StarCraft scene, Print F used to be a notorious Tooth and Tail player. He's fantastic at the game. Print F is considered one of the best like cannon rushing foreigners ever. So that was really fun. So yeah, there's a lot of overlap in between. I know Classic Metal's into it, but here we go. Weasel's back. I think we're just gonna rule a no harm, no foul on that one, and just redo it. So let's hop back into it.
Righto.
In the bottom right, we've got Lieutenant Weasel, and on the left, we've got Dino. Hopefully, Weasel got whatever that issue sorted out with, but that's why we have tournament organizers, AV Ultima, so me and you don't have to worry about that. That's somebody else's job. And this is a completely different map, and I mean, I guess I like it better for Weasel, right? I mean, Dino does have 3 bases too. He's got the one up in the north, and there is a sneaky attack path from Weasel's base up to it. And again, we see the 5-farm Warren from Dino, and Weasel's gonna respond with the 6-farm Warren. That's the correct response. You stay up a farm, and you're nice and safe. However, Dino's going for the 5-farm double, so Weasel going for a 7-farm single might be greedy. We'll see. We'll see if anything can get done here. I think you wait for like 4 lizards and then run in and try to take a pig. I'm not sure. Yeah, because right now it's like 4 versus 1 to 2 squirrels, right? But you got to get the right angle here as well. You want to try to hit the pig in the corner if possible, but Dino's just going to say, well, I guess he's going to try to shoot in the other way here. And
Weasel is away, burrowing back though.
Definitely going to get a pig. Only lost 2 lizards. Great trade there for Weasel, but keep in mind, he did sacrifice economy to do that, so now he's building back into the farms here. You know what's interesting about this playstyle too is, you know, not only can it be effective in the early game, but it's a big mind game thing as well. You know, like if you're Weasel, you might be a little bit scared to move. Like, what? I'm gonna move out, and then lizards are gonna backdoor me. You know, you get paranoid.
And as we saw from the games we casted yesterday, it can be quite the juking units.
Oh yeah, yeah. We saw Jace. Oh gosh, that game with Jace was amazing.
Both those games.
Yeah. What was? Okay, I remember the lizard one. Was the other one a lizard one too, or was it something else?
Yeah, they were both lizards.
Both lizard games. So we got toads here from Weasel.
Which is smart.
Yes.
Oh, you know that's tough because if he goes hard in the toads, Dino's gonna have a bad time because he doesn't have another tier 1 to sort of back that up.
Yeah, he's gonna have to use his own toads to try to rail into the opponent's toad to keep the lizards alive. But look at this attack!
Oh, what a timing! Wow.
That attack's super effective, but Weasel's commander goes down. But it doesn't matter because that attack, the engagement was so good for Weasel. Even knocks out that tier 2 Warren. Dino is in a world of hurt here.
Yeah, essentially everything going wrong. Having ferrets on the defense at a poor timing, and having lizards against toads. Essentially, yeah, he's sort of stuck in this sort of play. Maybe these mines can buy him some time, but oh, they're gonna go down, aren't they?
Yeah, this is that problem with getting out the ferrets too early. They're not this direct combat unit. You know, if you're gonna get a quick tier 2, you're better off with something like the chameleon or the skunk or something like that. These ferrets just don't pack the biggest punch in the direct engagement. Nice job keeping that ferret alive from Dino, though, and that mine got some value for sure. But Dino's taking so much damage here. Like, I'm kind of rooting for him because I want this series to continue. And I have called games incorrectly twice today, so let's see it. Dino can make something happen here.
Oh no, that ferret falling behind.
Oh, it goes down, gets baited into that big mine hit, but Dino just doesn't have the units to follow this up with. And he's gonna try to wiggle his way out with these lizards and try to snipe that, do a gristmill trade, a base race. I don't think he's actually gonna make it in time. Yeah, he's just gonna lose right here, right now.
Squirrels.
Weasel was doing something really smart, too, by the way. He was just bringing his toads home to help defend against the lizards. But that's going to be it. Weasel takes it 3-1. I mean, that's not it. We got more games today. But that's it for the series. And we're actually going into the last match of the nights. We are going into Mishi versus Dizon.
Oh ho ho.
So those players are probably being wrangled up by our tournament organizer, Mochaccino. GG Weasel, GG Dino. Again, welcome everybody in chat. I hope you guys are having a blast. If you're on Steam, welcome. I hope you like what you're seeing. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Feel free to join our Discord. Oh, I can hit change broadcast settings. Oh my god. Let me see here. Can I change the title? There's like all these settings I don't need. I'll look into it maybe for next time or something. Well, we got Mishi ready to rock and roll here. Mishi, one of the old school greats. Coming in to show everybody he still knows how to get down on some TnT. And while we are waiting, the next episode of the tournament is going to be on Sunday. This Sunday coming up, the 15th, at 1 p.m. EST, 6 p.m. CET for you European folks. And that is going to be our boy Big Pimpintosh hosting and casting that one, a.k.a. WittyPun7 on Twitch. So if you like what you see, you want to see some more content. Actually, if you're on Steam and you just want to see some more, maybe you're thinking about grabbing Tooth and Tail while it's on sale for $5 or something, check out my channel, ToothAndTailTV on Twitch. We're also broadcasting there. I've got hundreds of hours of content. I mean, you can just watch Tooth and Tail forever. And also Clash of Comrades on YouTube if you guys want to see some of the old school Glory Days stuff. Some real good production value there.
Classics?
It's the classics, that's right. Definitely check out Clash of Comrades on YouTube for some of the old school stuff. So there's plenty of more content out there. If you like what you see, maybe you want to see a little bit more.
Well, like Classic Comrades, am I right?
Yeah! COCC, Clash of Comrades Classic. Okay, alright, we got our players here. We got our players thinking about what units to take. And we're launching into it. Oh, did I? Okay, I did update the scoreboard. I'm on top of it. Why am I even second guessing myself?
Oh, Mishi.
In the bottom left, we've got Dizon. And in the top right, we've got Mishi. And guess what Mishi's got with him, AV? Those big artillery cannons.
He's so siegey. He's got ferrets, he's got fox, he's got turret, he's got drumfire. Jeez.
But I love this. We were kind of touching on this earlier, where Mishi has a very specific plan. You know? And his deck is highly oriented for it. Mishi wants to siege. He wants to poke his opponents to death. He wants to secure the map. He wants to throw down an artillery cannon, back it up with some turrets, and worst case scenario, if for some reason the map gen doesn't allow it, or the game's too scrappy to go for that or something, Mishi can always pivot into Squirrel Chameleon, which is a fine, early to mid-game composition. So I actually really like Mishi's deck here.
And, the map isn't bad for it either. Got these sort of leapfrog bases where ferrets can sort of pick from far away.
The map is actually perfect for it, because if Mishi just takes this natural here, he's in spitting distance of Dizon's either second or third base. He throws down an Artie right there. That base is just completely denied. So if you're Dizon, you don't know what Mishi's deck is at this point, but you're going to try very hard to make sure Mishi can't pull this off, right? Now that artillery cannon is a 180 food investment, so when he sees that go down, he's really going to try to contest it, but Mishi's not just going to throw that thing down naked. He's going to defend it with turrets. He's going to defend it with ferrets or chameleons. I'm interested how he's actually going to pull it off. Fast.
It's unfortunate that Dizon, I guess, doesn't have lizards, because there's that flank route on the right side that could have been a potential if Mishi ends up shoring this sort of front line area. but he doesn't have those. And any other unit would be so slow to get through. But you know, with that said, if it does come to that and he has to drag his entire army through that, that could be an option to get around some defenses.
Yeah, that could be a good avenue to base race or something. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because if Mishi over invests in Artie and stuff like here on the front lines, the Dizon can say, fine, you know what, I'm just going to attack where all your defense isn't, you know, at the back of your base. But we might be getting a little too excited. We may not even see that kind of thing this game. So far, it's a very standard macro opening from both sides. They're trying to get up some farms, trying to get up some tech. Mishi going for that chameleon first, you know, making his army a little bit beefier here. And the snake first from Dizon. Snake first chameleon is actually an interesting matchup. I think the snake is favored there because it does a good job against units like cams, but I don't think it's out of the question for the cams to win the engagement either. It's really going to come down to targeting and positioning and that sort of thing. And scouting is so important in this phase of the game. You really want to know exactly how many farms your opponent's building, how much they're investing into eco, if they're teching up, how many tier 2 warrens do they have? Do they have a tier 3? You know, you really got to stay on top of all these things. You know, Mishi's pulling ahead in economy here, and this is so far Mishi's been doing a great job in this early to mid game. You know, he's got all the way up to 16 farms. He's got a nice healthy army. He's got to be happy seeing his opponents only got half saturation there.
Yeah, I wonder what Dizon is thinking here, because Mishi's got these other two bases on lockdown once he has this sort of front line shored up. And there's no way Dizon's going to get this forward base as easy as you might think. So what's his game plan going forward? I mean, he's got the tier 3 Fox, but the map is so hemmed in that it's going to be hard to maneuver around.
Oh, and here comes the containment.
Yeah.
Dizon was really...
No ferrets from Dizon.
Really banking on getting a whole bunch of tier 2 very fast. But Mishi's already getting him on lockdown, and he's making a nice little area to just throw that already down to it. Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'm so hyped for this. And 6 chameleons to back this up, too.
You know what I've also seen is to counter sort of the structure plays, you go a ton of snake, and you sort of just run them in and try to get that target fire, get like 4 or 8 stacks down just like that.
Yeah.
If the army is not pulled up fast enough, and that's an easy way to melt some buildings.
I see a Peach in chat. Welcome, man. How's it going? Hope you enjoy the Tooth and Tail casting here. And we've got the snakes coming in, gonna deny that base, but the artillery's already up and running. Now, Mishi doesn't have high ground vision, but he can run his commander up onto the high ground. Oh my gosh, and another artillery.
Wow, that's...
Oh my god, Mishi.
He's so confident right now, and Dizon is so scared. Oh, and he's going in now?
Oof. This is rough for Dizon. Mishi just played this game so well. I'm really impressed, to be honest. I wonder if he's been practicing a lot. He's one of those players that was like one of the greats in an earlier era of Tooth and Tail, and I think he just kind of came back for this event. You know, people kind of come and go as they do in everything. You know, you take a break for a little bit and come back, and Mishi is just showing phenomenal shape here. Like his decision making this game, the pace in which he macroed up, how he kind of slowly crept forward with the turrets. You know, how he was safe with the chameleons early. Like overall, I think he's just playing phenomenal Tooth and Tail here.
Yeah, I've said this time and time again, it's great to have that game plan going into a game of Tooth and Tail.
Yes.
It's nice to be able to react, but if you have your own game plan, you know what you're going to do.
Yep.
And especially when you get this lucky map like this, exactly what Mishi wanted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always nice being the one with the game. You want to be the initiator of the tempo of the match, right? And what do you do if you're Dizon here? I think you do what you were talking about earlier, man, and just shoot through the 6 o'clock to the 12 and say, you know what, I'm not going to fight this horrible. And he's got the Fox, too. Oh, but look at this. Mishi already knows that's an option, and he's preemptively taking all these mills to try to counter the base race, and here comes Dizon for the base race. Dude, Mishi is just playing 4D chess here.
And Dizon is just overwhelmed, scouting all 3 of them building at one time.
All right, here comes a base race, and Mishi is just immediately targeting down these mills. And I don't think this other mill is going to come up in time. And that's match number 1 going to Mishi.
Great work.
Really cool game. And let's see if Mishi's going to change it up or if he's going to go for something similar. And what do you do if your D's on? These players scratching their heads trying to figure out their compositions here. Okay, here we go into match number 2. On the left, we've got Mishi, and on the right, his opponent Dizon. And Mishi completely changing things up this time around. He's got another deck to pull out of the bag of builds here. And I like this from Dizon too. I think this is solid. He's got Squizzard, he's got the Chameleon Skunk, which is a nice bruisery kind of combo. He's got the Snakes to deal with something like the Boar. And he can top it all. The icing on the cake here for Dizon is the Wolf. So I think we're probably going to see 8 farm openings here. These guys aren't as known for their aggression. But I am happy we saw a lot of pre-8 farm stuff tonight. You know, it wasn't all just straight 8 farm opening.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense that you would see the more standard quote-unquote play from the higher level players. Unlikely that they'd get tricked up by the early game antics of others.
Yeah.
Like aggressive farm placement or Warren placement.
Yeah, and that I kind of like it because he's probably planning on taking this mill anyways. But this is a really short rush distance. Like, this map kind of expands out, but to the southeast, you know, and there is
Ooh. Tier 2 first.
Ooh, tier 2 first by Mishi, but he is going for Cam, which is a nice first tier 2 to get. Some interesting placement of barbed wire there. I wonder why he's got it positioned near those trees. Maybe he thinks there's a way to get through those trees. I don't think there actually is, though.
I think Mishi was pretty certain that Dizon would have squirrels, so they'd probably have the range.
Oh, yeah, that's smart. I see what you mean. So that way his units can't just stand up there and shoot down.
Yeah.
All right, Mishi on the defense here. This is a little bit rough for him, but now he's got the Cam. And Dizon trying to make a play. He has forced out a lot of barbed wire, but probably not going to be happy now that he sees his Cam. But the Cams don't re-stealth as fast as they used to, but Mishi still manages to get it back into the shadows in time. Great defense here from Mishi.
This is a bit tough for Dizon to push into. He's got the barbed wire on either side, and he's got tremendous amount of defense to push into. What's his next step from here? Snakes? Yeah? It's going to take a while for that to get up, and now Mishi's pushing out with those chameleons, which is huge at this stage in the game without the tier 2 of Dizon. And yeah, those cams are just pushing through, and now he's going to have to sell that.
Yeah, and with the way that these warrens were placed, they are not being protected by the pigs. The reason that Dizon placed them in such a fashion was he wanted that reinforcement timing to be just a little bit faster. However, it was at a very big risk, as you can see Mishi coming in with the chameleons, wrecking everything down, and going up 2-0.
It's so scary when you're like witnessing a player just play out his game plan. You wanted to get those cams out, put down the barbed wire to get them out. Wow, just what's Dizon got to do?
Okay. Spawning into the next map here, we've got Mishi at the bottom left, and his opponent, Dizon, to the right. Really, if you're out there watching at home, you really got to give Dizon your energy here. He needs a victory to continue this into more matches here. If Mishi ends up winning this, then that is it. He goes 3-0 in the series.
You know, in a way, Mishi had another great map there for what he wanted to do. He had that tiny entrance to his base where Dizon couldn't potentially punish that tier 2. And if he would have had squirrels, I assume Mishi would have had the, ooh, look at this. Now we're seeing moles.
And you know what? I bet one mole can kill a building pig. Oh, this is going to be,
certainly.
This is some old school. Dude, we need to show this to DJ Soak. It might make him come back. He's the mole king. Oh, man. Gosh. Such value.
Straight into 8 farms. Just, wow.
That's what I'm saying about moles now, man. Like, that mole attack. I mean, Dizon didn't scout it, but it just happens so fast. Since the moles just immediately hatch, for lack of a better word. And, I kind of like it because the moles aren't as good in a straight-up army as they used to be. And look, now he's just going to get bullied.
That's so true, actually. Because there's no way the scroll comes out in time, right?
Yeah, there's no way. And the mole crits the structure, so he's got to sell it.
Smart.
Yeah, that was a bad positioning there for the Warren. And now Mishi's just going to keep bullying. He's got some squirrels rallying. Look at this mole aggression. DJ Soak would be proud. But I like this because the moles aren't like a super, super good unit in direct army comps anymore, So, like, they have this role of aggression or backdooring or, the classic, like, I'm about to lose, I'm going to sell everything I got and build a bunch of proxy moles or something,
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, it also takes a lot of effort and skill to pull off. So I don't think it's, like, brain dead to do. It still takes a lot of effort to do and the correct decision making to make it happen. There's an opportunity here because now Mishi's down on unit. Okay, a bit of lag there. Down on unit value. Wasn't able to get off his barbed wire in time, but see if he can make this defense.
Yeah, Dizon with the counterattack. This mill is definitely going to help tank some of the hits here. Mishi with all this barbed wire to try to limit the surface area that that Dizon can really take advantage of. But so far, this is not looking bad for Dizon.
Probably the best barbed wire here are those pieces that are just directly north of his base, not allowing Dizon to get that full-on high ground advantage. Dizon's got to be careful. 18 squirrels to 15. Dizon isn't down any more tier 1s. Along with the moles coming in from Mishi. Oh, this is going to be an easy push out.
Yes, so many squirrels here for Mishi. I think he's done a good job, playing this calm and cool, not getting flustered. This is a nice attack from Dizon, but he's super all in. He's got his Warrens placed up here, which is nice because he'll be able to reinforce the front lines very quickly, but if Mishi breaks out of this, I mean, that's basically it.
Yeah, he quickly put down those moles. That gave him just a quick supplement of units to push out of this. I mean, even if they just go down here, it's an easy break unit, and man, how effective that was.
So bam, that's a 3-0 from Mishi, and you know what, man? I'm feeling good. I think I can go into a few more. What do you think? You want to join me?
Yeah, I'm down.
All right, cool.
I mean, we're scheduled till 8?
Yeah, we're running through this pretty quickly, so GG, phenomenal play from Mishi there. Wow. I am quite impressed. And Dizon did great too, It wasn't like Dizon was making all these critical mistakes, it's just that Mishi was just playing so good. So we are going to do a bonus match here, guys, since we've got a lot of viewership. We're having fun. This is a good tooth and tail night, so let's rock and roll for one more series. we are gonna do.
Give me those numbers, Delthius. Where are we at? What's the viewer count?
Something like 40 on Steam and 40 on Twitch.
Okay.
Not bad.
So what are we going into? The replays here?
Yeah, we're gonna hit Child versus Kuro. What's that guy's full name? What's his name in the tournament? Let me see. Let me make sure we got this. We got this going correctly.
His full name? Kuroticus?
That is a new one for me. I have never heard of Kuroticus. This is a... Hang on one second.
And this will be an intermediate match, so middle of the road.
Yeah. All right, this will be fun. The Child I'm very familiar with. We see him a lot in events. We see him a lot on the Feast. Speaking of the Feast, guys, little Delthius plug here. Continue to send me replays, please, at ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com. If you're new watching this or something, I try to do replay casting shows just to make some content for the scene and because it's fun to cast. Basically, where anybody, doesn't matter your skill level, you could be a brand new player, you could be an expert like Mishi, you just send me replays. I don't ever look at them first, and I just cast them, and sometimes I get somebody like AV to join me, and we have a good time. So keep sending me. We actually just had a new patch, so I don't have a lot of replays at the moment, so play some Tooth and Tail games with your buddies or maybe on the ladder, and shoot me your favorite matches, and I will be sure to cast them. So I'm actually glad we're doing one more, because now we're hitting a match from the Intermediate League here. We've got the Child versus Kuroticus. I'm glad you pronounced that, because it sounds like you pronounced it correctly, and I certainly wouldn't have.
Did I pronounce it correctly?
I mean, I'm assuming you did. It sounds right. Sounds right to me. Kuroticus. Yeah, yes. All right, guys. Let's do this. Are you ready to hop into match number 1 here?
Let's do it. Whoops.
Uh-oh. Okay, all right. False start.
I was too eager.
10-yard penalty.
All right, yeah, I am ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, spawning in the bottom, we've got Kuroticus rocking that fox, and his opponent up top, the Child with the wolf. I always get excited for these tier 3 flagship units, but you know, you can get ahead of yourselves. A lot of times we don't quite make it that far in the game, you know.
Look at this safety base all the way to the west. That's an easy take of the Child if he wanted it.
Yeah, so far these players just kind of scoping out what's going on with the opening build orders from one another, trying to get a feel for the map. And let's take a look at this map here. The Child's got a nice natural. Oh, I'm loving this for the Child, right? He's got a nice natural expansion. He's got a third base. He's up on this high ground. It's difficult to attack in through some of this trees and terrain and water here. And meanwhile, for Kuroticus, it is a bit rough. You know, Kuroticus can't mess around, I think. I think Kuroticus just kind of has to plant the flag here in the middle, you know? Because whoever gets one of these mills here in the middle should get the rest of them. And this...
Certainly.
This 9 o'clock base looks like it's for the Child, right? Because if you look at the way the ledges are, you got to run all the way around to get to it. So 8 farm double here from Kuroticus, and so far the Child just on one Warren, maybe thinking about a tier 2. Yeah, it goes for the Skunks, so this looks like he could be building up to like the classic this guy skunk push. He's actually kind of really got that comp here with the Squirrel Mole Skunk Pigeon. It's a nice solid bruiser, middle kind of mid-game attack you can do that can really punish your opponent if they build too many tier 1 or maybe if they're too greedy or something like that.
As a note, neither player has scouted that 9 o'clock yet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a hard spot to get over to.
I think it would behoove the Child to go for more of a forward expansion anyway, because he doesn't want to allow Kuro to sort of just hop on these middle bases for free.
Yeah, certainly, because once Kuro kind of puts his foot down here, you know, he's gonna control so much of the map. And here's that big push. The skunk's already here. Ooh, the child might be trying to sneak a victory out. You know, this 8-farm tier 1 into tier 2 doesn't even wait for the second skunk. I think that's actually really smart. One skunk's kind of all you need, you know? And he hits this timing. If he would have waited for that second skunk, maybe at that point Kuro could have got out a chameleon or something like that. And as long as the child, baby... Alright, one skunk goes down, but he's got another one. He needs to be careful. Can't get too ahead of himself here. Oh, lizards are great at trying to target that skunk down, but it gets away with just a 2 HP.
Oh, wow. Coming away from that with 1 tier 2 still and taking out 2 warrens, I believe. Not totally bad. And denying the expo farms.
Alright, the child gonna go ahead and just grab their own second base for the moment, realizing, alright, I'm not gonna be able to snag a quick victory here. Gonna have to take this into the mid-game. But gonna keep the pressure on. Oh, that mine hit just wrecks the skunk. Huge. That was huge. Dang. Dude, those mines, man. I gotta start using mines more. Like, I've seen so many times in games like this where the mines make such a big impact, or even in my own matches. You know, I think, haha, I'm hitting a nice timing, and then I run over like 3 mines and die. And now we've got chameleons, so Kuro might be stabilizing here. Took some damage in the early game, but nothing critical.
Yeah, that mine was huge for Kuro because he didn't really have the unit advantage there. He was still waiting for his warrens to get built and reinforced, but that little mine hit allowed those extra hits to pull out that trade fight there. Now we've been sort of equalized here.
Yeah, the child just trying to stay up a farm or two. I love it. And Kuro doing the same. When we hit these mid-games, the farm scouting of the second base is just so important. And I like this from the child. He's not really overextending, but he's just keeping the pressure on. He's just continuing to, like, shoulder check his opponent. Make sure they're not trying to do anything too greedy, like take too many farms, or try to sneak out a big tier 3 unit or something. Just keeping the constant pressure on. And, you know, he makes it out with his skunks. He killed a chameleon, so not super bad for the child there. I think he could use a couple pigeons, to be honest. Just like 3, you know. Not going crazy or anything, but 1 more and a pigeons could certainly help these skunks out a little.
Wow. It's the first time we've seen a player go so heavy into moles, and especially it seems like it's part of his core group.
Yeah, to me that kind of signals that the child wants to move out, but that'd be interesting if like you said, it's more of just part of his army comp, like he's just kind of building moles to have them, you know?
Yeah.
Because what's nice about mole warrens, you can build them anywhere, so if you're going to build moles to kind of push in with them, you build them very close to the enemy, that way they can reinforce with additional moles quickly. So yeah, both players kind of building up here, not being too greedy on their expansions, just half sat at the moment. Both players going up to tier 2, so pretty even army styles, I should say. Like, compositions are different, but the builds are similar.
Yeah, this is really fascinating. I really wonder how long these... Ooh, a really great mine hit again. This could make all the difference. Those chameleons are tough. The moles really can't DPS through them as well as you would hope. And because the moles sort of make up his entire tier 1 army, it's tough for the Falcons to have that sort of sustain like we'd like them to see.
Yeah.
Now he has no tier 2 left to Kuro's 1 cam, and that is huge.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Like, the moles,
here, though.
the moles aren't, like, as good as part of, like, a core unit. You really want to use them in aggressive ways, like we saw Mishi utilize them, or to do kind of backstabby things, like build a whole bunch of mole warrens back here or something. But they do help. They soak up a bunch of damage, which is nice. And if you can break through to your opponent's structures, you know, they get that structure crit, which can knock things down very quickly. They're also nice against turrets, which I feel like are kind of making a comeback into the meta.
Well, Crow needs to be careful. He does not have the army right now.
Another big attack here from the child, and yeah, these moles doing a great job on the front lines, and they should really delete this gristmill. Yeah, this is where the moles shine. Is when you can get them up on those structures. That structure crit is just so huge. And that might have been crippling damage now that Kuro is starving and a lot of these warrens are going down. So really action-packed game number 1 here. It's kind of just like non-stop engagements.
Yeah, I wasn't watching too closely, but why, man, how did Kuro not have the units during that time where they were both rebuilding? It's a bit surprising.
Yeah, I think the skunks just got a lot of value. Just AoEing down all these squirrels over and over. And Kuro is starving. He's got to build a mill. Okay, in theory, he could like place a farm at like 1 second left. If you are watching on Steam or new to Tooth and Tail, you will starve out. If you have no more food, you have to have an income at all times, or you'll starve out. And if you starve, if that counter gets to 0, you lose the game, and he's gonna be able to barely put it down. It takes Gristmills 20 seconds to build. So he resets that timer, but the child, with his own economy to back this up, just got too much. Kiro's gonna have to tap, and we're gonna go into game number 2. 1 point on the board for the child. All right. Are you ready, AV?
Game 2.
3, 2, 1, go.
Whoa.
All right, in the bottom we have the child. And his opponent to the top left, Keraticus. Keraticus sounds like a Spartan warrior or something.
I know. I am Keraticus.
Seems like a character in like the God of War series.
And look at these bases, just shoved into the sides of the map like this. Very unique looking.
Yeah, nice little pocket base here for Kuro up top. He's actually got like 2. Like, look at the mini-map. Like, Child's got to come in. Like, there's this little bit of hedge where his commander is right now, but you'd have to funnel your whole army through one tile to get in between those trees. So, depending, like, imagine Kuro's on the other side of this. You know, you could just immediately get into a concave versus convex situation where the units are all clumped up. Oh my gosh, imagine some mines right there. That would be amazing. But Child's really got to come in one way to get to, like, all 3 of these bases here for Kuro.
Yeah, I guess Kuro has an opportunity, as you said, to sort of take this 7 o'clock base. Then again, that sort of high ground there could be an issue for him if the child is aggressive.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities here. If he decides to take one of the more safer bases, he's going to be... it's going to be harder for him to be aggressive to take this middle ground area. We see him placing mines, though, as you said.
Yeah, I'd love to see some mines, like, right in that one tile in the middle. That would be awesome. But just a single mine out here on the board. You wanted to be a little bit careful about over-mining. Those things do cost 20 food each. That's the same price as a Tier 1 unit. And I think the child... No, he... Oh my gosh. I don't think he knows about that mine. This squirrel should hit it. Boom. Dead.
See ya.
And a little bit of poking and prodding here from the child.
Oh. So brought his... Well, he's got that chameleon out, so should be able to... help this out greatly.
Yeah, the child wanted to punish this very, very fast Tier 1, or Tier 2 rather, and that chameleon just barely gets out in time. However, child did sacrifice a little bit of efficiency there with the engagement to secure the kill on that Warren. And Kuro's coming in for the counterattack, and You know, cams really shine in these kinds of positions. However, the child has managed to get a ton of squirrels out already. And what's Kuro going to go for next? Maybe some skunks? You know, this map is actually pretty decent for the child, too. He's got easy access to 3 bases here. There's only one attack path in between these players. There's no room for running around or any kind of shenanigans, but I don't think anybody's heart's going to be broken about that too much because we don't see lizards from either players here. This is the kind of map, if you have lizards, you're very not happy about, you know?
Yeah, I don't think there's any world where Kuro pressures the child in any way. But the child coming in for an attack, actually the toads are going to be pretty great in countering these cams, technically.
Yeah, he wants these toads.
Right in front of
oh,
him.
That's so much damage from that mine. He wants these toads to hit the cams, and they do. Nice hits there. However, all that DPS from the mine really, really helping Kuro win that engagement, but lost both of those cams. And that's a good amount of food, but the bigger story with losing the tier 2 is just the time. Like, it's going to take 40 seconds to get out an additional 2 chameleons here.
Oh, yeah.
And the child's winning the eco game so far. Kuro hasn't really been able to get in and scout for the last minute or so. How about the child? Yeah, child hasn't been able to scout. Yeah, now both these players are finally getting in here. Child is going to see the expansion. But Kuro didn't go all the way in to really count farms here. So the child might be getting away with murder. You know, going up to 4 base, not really getting punished for it. Or not 4 base, but 4 farm on the second. That's going to be a nice eco lead. But Kuro does have the game sense to throw down a couple more farms of their own. So we're kind of evening out here. Ooh, the 4 chameleons here from Child. And I'm actually glad that we see chameleons still in the meta because they did get nerfed, but the nerf was the re-stealth is now a half a second instead of a quarter of a second. So they still have the same stats that they used to. And we saw earlier, like, Mishi was able to re-stealth his cams very effectively in engagement. So if you're on top of your micro with them, you can still re-stealth them fairly easily. But I do like that change because I feel like stealth cam backstabs on pigs and stuff is a little less oppressive now, because I remember games with the quarters of a second stealth where I would anticipate the chameleon coming in and killing one of my pigs, and I still wasn't able to get him before they re-stealthed, you know, so I like that. I think there's a little more counterplay to chameleon harassment now.
That's a bit spooky. No commander there. He's pulling them back, though.
Yeah, that could have been rough. And no high ground vision. And Kuro doesn't have any flying units either. But the comp that Child is getting up is very nice. He's got 4 chameleons of his own. He's got some toads to deal with his opponent's chameleons. But Kuro's got the skunks. That's going to do well against these squirrels. He's got ferrets, which would be really nice, but unfortunately he just can't see up without moving his commander all the way up on that high ground.
Yeah, if he does ever plan on taking that 7 o'clock base, he will have no way of spotting the high ground. Ooh, the ferret's getting stuck. Get him back, get him back. Oh, no. Oh, but the child
look at the
his
skunks
through the 1v1
oh my
tile.
god. That's what I was oh, and then runs into a mine there.
Oh, ouch.
This is like when you like slip on a banana peel and then like get back up and then like stumble over the trash can or something, you know? Like, oh, that was so rough for the child.
Imagery.
Man, those skunks did so much work there through that choke. That was crazy.
I think he got a little too excited seeing that ferret on the back line falling behind.
Jeez, look at that army graph, AV. Look at that after the game. Like, that was insane, man.
Ouch. Yeah, that's a dip.
Yeah, I think the child got a little too bold trying to just walk right through there. The skunk gas just hit every unit of his. All right, but that ties us up 1-1. Are you ready for match number 3 here?
Match 3. Let's do it.
Alrighty, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, spotting in the bottom left, we've got Kiraticus. And his opponent to the top right, the child. You know, I'm not trying to recommend things too hard, but if any other Tooth and Tail streamers might happen to feel the itch to play some ranked or something, or do a little streaming, you could be possibly getting a big fat raid here in a few minutes. Just saying, just throwing that out there as we're kind of wrapping this up.
Good old BFR, a big fat raid.
The old BFR, indeed. In the bottom left, we do have Kiraticus again, and in the top right, his opponent, the child. Nice big map. Actually, not as big as it might think. And this, you know what's interesting about this map is the road in between the two bases. So this is already like kind of a short rush distance, but the road, for players that are unaware, actually makes all the units move a little bit faster than normal. So, you know, some aggression could be fairly deadly here.
It's surprising to see the 8 farms on, as you said, such a short rush. Typically, you see even at least the mind games going on. You know, what am I going to do? But both players content just to go to that 8 and getting a rather early expansion as well.
Yeah, this is something we haven't seen a ton of tonight, but the 8 farm fast expand, this is totally fine. This is a solid build, and let's see how Kiro wants to respond. The big thing here is that the child just really needs to keep an eye on what his opponent's doing and not be overly greedy with how many farms he decides to take. He does see the tier 2 coming down, so if you're the child, you actually do have some time to get out a farm or two before the big attack comes in. This is a best of 5, Mishi. This is actually the last one of the nights. I'm hoping maybe somebody else might feel like doing a little Tooth and Tail streaming so I can give them a big raid-a-roni. But if not, no worries. So child going up. Yeah, he's being pretty greedy here. He's trying to get his own tier 2, and he's got the second base. Meanwhile, Kiro is going to come in for the harassment, but the child's got his own cam out. One more and is going to go down. And that cam just got deleted so quickly. Nice build here from the child. He's able to defend pretty well. Only lost to Warren. And he's got a couple extra farms to boot. So he's in a phenomenal spot here.
Yeah, Kuro doesn't really have the army comp to potentially punish the child for doing the expand 3 farms. But the child has a great army comp versus Kuro. Those toads make all the difference.
Yeah, the toads and the cam versus cam engagement has been very, very good tonight, as we've seen in several games. And Kiraticus just still trying to bring the pain, and he's got to get something done. He's got to deal some serious damage because the child's got a half-saturated second base. And he has, like, he's taken out several Warrens. He's getting a nice army lead, but I think he's got to turn it up to 11 here. I don't think he can really take his pedal off the gas, you know, because if he does, the child is just going to get so far ahead. Getting his own expansion now, but his economy is just miles behind.
Yeah, in theory, you should be able to punish this, but the toads are just making all the difference in the world. Every time they trade, the child's coming away with at least one more chameleon over him.
Yeah, the toads and the
6 now. Oh, 4. Okay.
The toads and the defender's advantage as well. And the thing is, like, Kiraticus took some good fights. Like, I think he came out on top, especially with the damage he dealt to the Warrens, but he just didn't deal enough damage, you know? He needed to get more done to really mitigate the economic disadvantage that he's at now.
Jeez, 8 farms, 2 more tier 2 Warrens going down. How is he doing this?
Yeah, this is a phenomenal game of Tooth and Tail that the child's playing here. I'm very impressed. It's kind of fun when you get to like the higher levels of play, when you get outside of just like building units and crossing your fingers and hoping it works. Like, Tooth and Tail actually does have a lot of depth to it. Like, really counting food, seeing exactly what your opponent's doing, knowing the correct responses. All right, if he does this, then that means I can do that, and I can squeeze out this extra farm and be ahead with the defender's advantage. And the child just really showcased that quite well. Kuro's not out, but Kuro needs to really, really eco up very fast. Or do something cheeky, like bring his chameleons over here to like this 10 o'clock ramp and hit the back door of the natural, pick up some free pigs. But the child's ahead and everywhere now. You know, he's got the better army comp, he's got the bigger army, he's got the better tech, or I'm sorry, he's got the better eco, and he's working on third base.
No, honestly, I think the child could use another 8 farms right here.
Yeah. Maybe a couple woofs to double it up, you know? And Kuro wants to get something done. Like, I think Kuro has the game sense to realize, like, I've got to keep the pressure on, but I think it's too late. Like, I think the child, the economy advantage should have paid off by now. Look at this. Child just rampaging through this engagement, and I mean, that's about to be all she wrote. The fat lady is humming some notes here. And Kuro taps.
Boom.
Another point on the board for the child. And that means we are hopping into game 4. Are you ready, sir?
What's our score looking like?
It is 2-1, the child up.
Okay.
Alrighty, let's do it. 3, 2, 1, go. On the left, we've got Kiraticus. His opponent to the right, child. So we see some ferrets this time around, see some lizards from both players. I like the child's deck. I think that's a pretty cool split. And Kiraticus, again, going for that triple tier 2. We see that from a lot of... You know, that's kind of a style some players have. I'm personally not one of those guys, but a lot of people are. And it adds some good flexibility. I think what Kiraticus wants to do is go into, like, Cam Skunk. And then just kind of have the ferrets if the situation dictates that that's appropriate. But Squizzard Toad Cam is going to make for such a strong mid-game comp. And then you can follow that up with the Wolf buffing up the Falcons in the late game. I mean, that's money right there. I love the child's deck. I think that's super solid.
Yeah, if it's anything like the last game, the Toads are once again going to make quite the splash if we end up having similar compositions again.
Toads are going to make quite the splash, huh? I see what you did there. Quick expo from the child. Not super crazy, but an 8-farm double into an expand. And meanwhile, Kuro trying to get those cams. So if the child scouts this tier 2... he can basically get his own tier 2 plus a farm and then hold the attack, and that's kind of like what he did last game, you know? And then now it's like, well, I've kind of got basically what you've got, but I've also got an eco lead. Did he scout the tier 2? He did.
Oh.
Yep.
Ballsy.
Yeah, so this is interesting. So 3 farms is a little bold here. But you do have time because, you know, the tier 2 coming out, you're going to wait about a minute, right? It takes about a minute from the tier 2 Warren spawning to having 2 of those bad boys ready to roll. So you've got a little bit of time to try to get out a farm or 2, get your own tier 2 up. And Kiraticus this time is not hitting the gas pedal, it looks like. He's just getting his own second base. I think the child's kind of winning in the build order game at the moment. Oh, this is ballsy. Going up to that many farms, yeah, even the child realizes he's being a little crazy here. And Kuraticus is going to try to get something done, and he's got 2 cams versus 0. This is a nice little timing that he's hit, and he's just going to delete this Gristmill.
Wants to be careful, though. He doesn't want to overcommit to this and then get counterattacked on, because now he doesn't have any of his tier 2 right now. Oh, but I guess the child doesn't yet either, so I think he's
I think he had to run away after getting that mill. He did commit very hard to that mill, but that was a ton of damage. However, like you just said, Kuro doesn't have a whole lot to defend this counterattack. The first cam is out. That's going to be a big help. But this is just a lot of squirrels at the moment. Only 1 pig going down, though. If I'm Kuro, I'm happy about that. Ooh, gonna lose the cam here, though, and Child should get his own out of there. But still, he knocked out that second base. That's huge, you know. I know math on stream is always deadly, but what is that, 240 food right there? And he's got his own second base, so if you're Kuro, all you gotta do is hang out for a little bit. Don't be too greedy. Don't let the child win right here, right now, and the income advantage should start kicking in here shortly. But this is a little bit of a bad engagement for Kuro, I feel like. Concave versus convex, 1 cam versus 2. But he can afford it. He's going to be fine. As long as he can re-stealth this cam. There you go.
Yeah, the child killed Kuro's chameleons a bit earlier than him, so I was able to have that little bit of an advantage during that fight. It looks like, you know, this is interesting. This seems like a game that I would have seen like several years ago. You've got that squizzard chameleon, and typically if the child were to go toads as he is now, you would use those lizards to try to bait the toads so they wouldn't hit your chameleons, right?
Yeah.
But of course that requires quite a bit of micro to pull off, but that's sort of what we saw some time ago in another age.
Yeah, and another thing that's cool about that too is you can down rank the amount of lizards you have. You know, you can just have 3 lizards, for example, rather than 6 or 9 or 12. That way, when they do hit the toads, you're not losing a whole bunch. And I remember even back in the old days, that would be another thing, like trying to hit 3 lizards into 6 toads or something, you know?
Child with a wolf on the back here.
Where's the wolf? Oh man, I could barely see it. That's a nightmare.
That Kuro would just chill around for a little bit, which is possible if Kuro's not super confident right now, because, you know, we're in that position where they both need to get their eco back up, so you might have time to do this.
Yeah, Child's surprisingly kind of starting to make his way back into this game. I think Kuro needs to put the pedal to the metal a little. I think he needs to keep a bit of pressure on his opponent, because the thing is, the longer a game goes on, the more total food both players have acquired, therefore food differences are less impactful, right? Like if I get a 200 food lead against you in the early game, when we both have farmed, let's say, 800 food, that's huge. But later on, when we both farm 1,600 to 2,000 food, that difference is much more negligible.
You know, there's still a ton of time for this wolf to get up, and Kuro did opt for units before putting those additional farms, so he might be thinking of going in for an attack once these warrens fill out.
Oh, this is not even a pocket either. I thought it was, but I believe this is an accessible ramp down here.
Oh, there is actually, yeah. And the child is going to scout it.
Oh, on both sides. I didn't even realize Kuro had one too, but look at the child's third base.
Yeah, you're right.
There's one right there as well. Little sneaky entrances. That'd be nice to harass with some lizards or something. But the child's getting time to get this wolf. The wolf's already here. It's done.
Yeah, he's sort of just over there.
Even investing in this 6 o'clock mill, I guess, as some insurance against any kind of base race. Which is pretty smart when your opponent has lizards.
Wow, he sold another Warren. Jeez. It's like he understands how defensive Kuro is playing right now, so he knows how to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I think this is a good example of not quite utilizing your advantage window as much as you could have.
I think Kuro's seen the light and he's coming in. I'm pretty sure he still has a chance here just to end it. But oh no, he's just taking a far position.
Yeah, he's hesitating. This is what the child wants. He wants more time. He's got his economy back up and running. He's got the wolf. I don't even think Kuro knows about the wolf, but I think he just found out about it. He doesn't know how many farms are on his opponent's base. But keep in mind, Kuro does have 4 cams, which is a wonderful amount of cams to have.
The child is so great right now. It sold 2 tier 2 and put down 2 more farms on the bottom.
Oh, and picking up that skunk because the extra movement speed from the wolf there before the engagement even starts. That's big. And Kuro is just going to YOLO right into the warrens of his opponent. The child has a defender's advantage, but look at this Kuro's army just stomping through.
This is fine. I think there's a point where going greedy and then going greedy just won't work out.
Yeah, finally the child's greed caught up to him. And Kuro was able to seal the deal.
What a gomble.
Alright, we've got a match 5.
Game 5.
Are you ready for this?
Yep.
Alright, let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, go! Alright, in the bottom left, we've got Kuraticus. In the top right, we've got the child. Look at this big open map. And lizards from both players. This is going to be interesting.
That set of 3 bases is
unique. This almost looks like a custom map or something. You know? Like, hey, we've both got a natural, and it's this huge open area for us to kind of slaughter one another in, and then whoever can secure this left side is kind of going to win it in the long haul. I don't know. I don't think this is going to be a long game, though. I think with the geography of this map, we're pretty set up for some fast, scrappy action. It is going to be difficult for either player to get a third, especially the child. So if I'm the child, I'm probably going to look for some 1 to 2 base play here. You know, you don't have to be crazy and go for a 1 base all in. You can still do a fast expand style, still try to macro up, maybe at like half or 3/4 saturation on that second throw down a wolf and push in once your tier 3's out. You know, Kuraticus could obviously do something similar, but let's see what these players opt for.
Yeah, this is potentially can be awkward for Kuro because he didn't put his warrens forward or onto the high ground. So, he's putting mines though. So the child could take advantage, move on to where that natural is, and just rain down from above. But I think Kuro's taking the necessary precautions here.
Yeah, kind of cool mine positioning. I do like that he sold
them though.
Sold them off. Yeah, the child knew about them. So it's almost a double bluff there because the child's probably going to play around as if those mines are there, but they aren't. Let's see. Or maybe he didn't see him because he just like walked right over it.
Kuro needs this high ground. He can't let him take it.
Oh no, and he's out of position. Okay, he sees what's going on now.
Oh, he's going to die.
Oof.
Yeah.
This is a good opportunity to come in and snipe a pig. This is looking really, really good for the child.
Get one more if you wanted to. Oh. Okay.
Greedmaster Ultima over here.
Oh man. Oh wow, man!
Double cam.
He's crazy. He's out of his mind.
Yeah, and all these squirrels here to poke down these wards. Here, Kuraticus goes with the big engagement. Gonna try to punish this tier 2 transition.
Oh, he died again.
Oh no! But he's got so many squirrels here. Man, imagine if his commander didn't die.
Yeah.
That could have been game ending. Gonna pick up a couple warrens still, which isn't terrible, but if his commander didn't die, he could have denied those tier 2, or he could have got some pig kills of his own. Really gotta be.
As soon as these units come out, this is gonna be a game changer. Ooh. And they're out.
Oh, that's rough. He even sacrificed a bunch of units to try to finish off that warren, and it didn't die. This is wonderful for the child.
Kuro selling 2 tier 1s. Assuming he's gonna put down his tier 2. Yeah.
mean, if
What
you're
crazy thing is the child gonna do next?
yeah, that's good. I mean, you got 4 cams here. Do you just move across the map? I think that's the play. Take this gristmill, the tank.
You know what? Yeah, he's got that high ground too.
He's got the eco advantage. He's got the army advantage. He's got the commander advantage. I mean, Bellified's definitely better than Quartermaster. And here we go. The Chameleon's coming in, dealing a lot of damage, but starting to fall. Oof. All the Chameleons going down, but getting another pig, getting a couple Warrens.
Yeah, he should have used the high ground better there. That was weird, but okay.
Yeah, you know, that wasn't as crazy as I thought it would be. Like, I thought the child was just going to win right there.
Yeah, he had the opportunity. I don't think he should have went where he did.
Oh, true, because, yeah, these, like, awkward trees right there.
Yeah.
A little weird for the unit pathing. However, the child's gotten so much damage done. He's got double the farms. He's taken out Warrens over and over. I think Eroticus is a newer player, though, so really impressive showing from them. The child is a very well-known name, been in the scene for a long time, so definitely put a big fight up against the child. However, cannot take it in time, and that is it, guys. We have completed the first day of casting here for the Tooth and Tail Championship 2020. I had a blast, man. What'd you think? Did you have fun?
Yeah, that was fantastic. Yeah. So experiencing the new meta in action and still seeing players just be as creative as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're one of the many people watching on the Steam store, man, if you liked what you saw, the game's only $5 right now. It's a great time to pick it up and join us in our little community here. Definitely check out the Discord if you do get the game or if you want to find out more about it. And if you want to see a little bit more, my channel on Twitch, ToothAndTailTV, has just got a ton of content. You can just see all kinds of casted games there. And other than that, I had a blast. I think we had a good first night. I think it went pretty smoothly. All the players, in the right spots at the right time. And we got to see some of the cool new matches from the new meta. We've got the next episode of TnT Championship 2020 coming up on Sunday, and that is going to be on Witty Pun 7's channel, aka Big Pimpintosh. I think everybody watching here in Twitch is quite well aware of that channel, but if you're not, well, that's not true. I have seen some new names today. If you're not aware of that channel, go ahead and give that a follow, because old Tosh will be streaming the next episode on Sunday. That's going to be 1 p.m. EST or 6 p.m. CET for you European folk. And what else do I got? If you're in the Tooth and Tail Championship, I believe you're, all systems go to play your matches. Check out the TnT Championship Discord. See who you're up against. And get those matches completed on time. I think that's it, man. You got anything else to add here, AV?
Not at all. What a fantastic tournament so far. Looking forward to see the rest of it.
All right, nobody bit on wanting to stream some Tooth and Tail, but I'm sure a lot of people are probably going to be hopping on the ladder after this, because they got the itch to play. I'm sure, maybe try out some of these new strategies here. So definitely a good time to get in some matches. But until then, I think what we're going to do is raid old buddy Best Sakia NA, another big Tooth and Tail content organizer from days of old. Thanks everybody, as always, for tuning in. Nicely done from all of our participants in the tournament today. I think we saw some great games. And as always, guys, keep sending me replays so I can continue to do the replay casting show, aka The Feast. And we will see y'all on Sunday over on Witty Pun 7's channel for the next casted content of the TnT Championships 2020. Thanks everybody again, and we will see y'all next time. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.